All right, good morning. I'm an addict named Lou.
Hello.
I'd like to start out with the Serenity Prayer. God,
Grant
grant us
us
serenity to
to
accept the things we cannot change,
the
courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference. Welcome, the Cape Atlantic area and the Convention Committee. Welcome you to our 35th Annual Convention. We hope you will find the spirit of recovery here to be warm and loving. Please join us in the numerous workshops and activities to help make our 35th convention a memorable and pleasurable one for all. Would an addict please read, Why Are We Here?
Jimmy Addict.
Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Why are we here? Before coming to the Fellowship of NA, we cannot manage our own lives. We cannot live and enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different, and we thought we had found it in drugs. We placed their use ahead of the welfare of our families, our wives, husbands, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. Through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problems. We seemed to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realized that in our addiction, we were slowly committing suicide. But addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended up in jail or sought help through medicine, religion, and psychiatry. None of these methods was sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced or continued to progress until in desperation we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffered from a disease from which there is no known cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and recovery is then possible.
Thanks, Jimmy. Would an addict please read the social media statement?
Addict named Debbie.
Debbie?
Hey, Debbie.
Statement to members regarding the press. As our 11th tradition says, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. The primary purpose of our public relations effort is to tell the story of Narcotics Anonymous and what our program offers to the still suffering addict. Members of the press are often attracted to our convention, and we welcome their interest. However, we do not disclose our last name in the media as identifiable members of Narcotics Anonymous. If members of the press approach you, please direct them to someone from the convention committee. Statement to the media. If any members of the media are present, we ask you to contact a member of the program committee or visit the registration area. Social media statement. We recognize that it is a common practice for members to take photos and or videos at any events and post them on social networks. We do not believe this to be in conflict with our traditions as long as they are for the enjoyment of members and are not made available to the general public. Please be considerate of our guiding principles and the anonymity of others as you share your photos and video from this NA event. For more information, please see the service pamphlet, social media, and our guiding principles.
Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. Like I said, I'm an addict named Lou. I'm the RD for the New Jersey region. RD is the regional delegate, so I represent our region at the World Service Conference, as the GSR will represent their home group at the area meeting, or the RCM represent the area at the regional meeting. Does everybody know what the CAR is? Conference Agenda Report. So just a few things this year. First of all, I would encourage everybody to read it. It's 81 pages. Probably can't read it all in one sitting, but it's a little dense. But what we're going to do this year is, in our region we go by group tallies, not individual tallies, or we go by group tallies, and that's how we represent our region at the World Service Conference. And this year there's going to be no paper. It's all going to be on electronic, on the same for the northern New Jersey region. On the website that we have shared services, northern New Jersey and New Jersey. And there'll be tally sheet electronically on there. You can print it out. So if you bring it to your home group, and might take a few sessions to go through it all, but then somebody could just input it into the electronic part of it on the website, and that's how we're going to count the tallies to know what our...
Can you vote as an individual or just a group?
Just a group on the motions.
Right. Like usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you get to the survey, the World Board is encouraging individuals to go onto the survey and the questions and the issue discussion topics, they encourage you to go on and vote individually.
Okay.
But you can't vote at the on the World Service website as an individual on the motions. All right, so it's a little confusing, but
No, it's pretty clear.
on our website, it's got to be the group, even for the whole thing, you know. But because that's the easiest way to do it. I mean,
So you submit a tally in like your home group, and then they submit online,
right?
whatever the group conscience is.
Exactly,
Gotcha.
exactly. And
Each home group submits it individually online, directly to the region?
yeah, because when you go on there, it's going to ask you your name, your group, you know, so they can't vote twice. And if they see a different name, the same group, it just won't input. You
Is
know?
that on the individual level?
No, that's a group level.
Group level,
Yeah.
but the individual go online?
If you go for individuals, the World World Board encourages you to go online and vote on the survey, the literature survey, the issue discussion topics, and the 2 questions that they are asking. You can do that individually, not the motions. The motions have to come from
It's the surveys.
regions. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you can do that on the World Board, na.org.
okay.
And our website is nanj.org.
Where on the website is the tally sheet?
They look under service.
Each region
Oh.
has separate, right?
Yes,
Here, group tally.
There you go.
2026 conference agenda report, group tally.
Yeah, you'll see where it says ask you for your name, group name.
Group name,
Yeah.
area.
Right.
You just want to make sure you're in the right region,
Yes. You wanna be in the
which
New
you
Jersey
shouldn't
region.
miss because they're 2 separate tabs, I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, when you hit service, it'll say either
Yeah.
for New.
Let's say I make a mistake
oh,
and
it
I,
didn't say that.
if I can,
Good.
yeah, you want to go make sure, this is New Jersey region, so if you're in the New Jersey region, you want to go to the, where it says service committees,
Yeah,
and then you want New Jersey region.
right.
So my question is, let's say I'm acceptance group Plainfield, New Jersey, Northern New Jersey region, but I go on the New Jersey region as a GSR, will it accept that tally, or will it, they know that group is not part of the region? You got-
It
is that-
won't accept the tally.
Yeah, it won't
That's
accept
what I
it.
understand.
Yeah, right.
The tally sheet, if you go to the tally sheet,
I think they're gonna separate it at the website itself. They'll separate it.
by your
Uh,
home group or
yeah,
something?
and the area.
Yeah.
Because here it's,
Listen, Paul R. is on it.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
And I trust him implicitly.
Yeah.
And he's
For both
responsible.
regions, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, for both regions.
I have a question. So at some point, and people tell me there's different deadlines, like, and I try to explain to them,
I see.
your RCM may have a deadline to get it to the RD, but the world has a different schedule.
Right.
Like you hear March 15th, April 1st. He goes, why is this 2 different dates? I go, because your RCM needs it earlier to have it to go to the conference. My question is, they're going to get, the 2 RDs for each region in the state of New Jersey is going to get some type of a printout.
Right,
And they're going to have like a report.
yes.
Yeah. You got any idea what that looks like?
No,
Yeah, okay. But I'm sure it's just something you print out,
Right.
and 5 motions are going to show
Yep.
X amount of groups, X amount of numbers. Okay.
so as far as deadlines go, this is how it works. For the survey, if you want to go on the World Board, na.org website, to do the survey and the questions, all that, that's April 1st is the deadline.
April 1st.
April 1st. To go on nanj.org, that deadline is April 10th.
Right.
Because we're going to get they're going to ask us to do a straw poll sometime after April 18th. We're going to go on Zoom. But we have
a test?
webinars every 2 months, but this
Yeah.
is going to be.
Okay.
And they asked us for a straw poll on the motions. So that's why April 10th is the deadline, so we have time to get the,
Work out any
Work
kinks
out-
if there's an
yeah,
issue or something.
and be able to tally everything up. So, and if it's 80% or more on the straw poll, when we get to the World Service Conference, they're going to say, well, we accept this as a final vote.
Oh,
That's why they're doing it, to save some time.
consensus.
Yeah. Because at the World Service Conference, we don't use Robert's Rules of Order. We use consensus-based decision-making. But there is some elements of Robert's Rules of Order in it, It's funny. So that's the deadlines. So we want to have Maurice, the other Maurice, for Northern New Jersey,
Bob Maurice.
wants to have the the tallies and time to be able to put it together. Me too. So now, the one thing I want to point out is this is the first. We have never done this before like this, so we're going to see how it works out. And this is the first time we're just using it strictly electronically. We're no paperwork. I remember the last cycle going to the World Service Conference and having all these slips of paper and stuff, trying to figure stuff out. But anyway, so we'll get started on the PowerPoint. Unfortunately, they don't have a projector here, but
You don't have any blank pieces of paper, do you?
no. Wait a minute. Yeah, I probably did.
Sorry,
It's all right.
ill prepared.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but
Oh, trust me, I know.
Are you the RDA?
No, I'm nothing.
Oh, okay.
That's a schedule once I can use that.
Okay, thanks.
The RDA can't be here today.
Okay.
That's Michelle. She's she, some of her kids or something. But she just did a workshop. I had to go on a webinar with the World Board last weekend, and we had scheduled a workshop at Burlington area at the same time. So she went and did that workshop. So we're trading back and forth, trying to do the best we can, Okay. So, the theme of this World Service Conference is Our Common Welfare. And it's going to be May 3rd to 9th in California. This is the second of 6 PowerPoints covering material in the 2026 Conference Agenda Report, or CAR for short. This PowerPoint covers the 5 motions being offered in the CAR. 3 World Board motions and 2 regional motions. This and the other PowerPoints will cover the main points of the CAR. We encourage all members to read the CAR itself, which is what I said earlier. For a complete copy of the 2026 Conference Agenda Report, well, you can scan this QR code, but this is what it looks like. When I went to Merle, they were giving these out. Merle is a multi-regional learning event. It was in New Hampshire. They had World Board members there. Just for an aside, before I get into this, we went to Marlikna, which is the Mid-Atlantic Regional Learning Conference of Narcotics Anonymous, and the World Board Chair and the World Board Vice Chair were there. And they had mentioned that NA was cited as the organization that adapted during COVID to the Zoom platform and were able to communicate within a week or two on Zoom, and how we adapted it so quickly. And that's the truth, and it's still paying benefits for us, even though that was a tough time. Okay, World Board motions. There are 3 motions. Motion 1 to approve the revision of IP number 21, staying clean in isolation. There's the essay is on pages 17 to 18 in Addendum A. Motion 2 to adopt the collaboratively created 2026-2029 NOAA Strategic Plan, and see essay on page 19 to 24 in Addendum B. And motion 3, approve changes to the World Convention of NA guidelines. So, and that essay is on pages 25 to 29. All right, so we'll start with motion 1. The origin of information pamphlet, IP number 21, the concept of the loner group was created to address the needs of addicts who, due to physical location, remote areas, were unable to attend regular in-person NA meetings. The loner group put isolated members in touch with one another as pen pals. That's how long ago that was, right? So they could write to each other. In 1986, the need for the loner group led to the creation of IP number 21, the loner, staying clean in isolation. In 1986, the internet had not been invented. IP number 21 offered guidance and workable solutions for living a clean life while isolated. So from 2020 to 2022, shaped by fellowship input in March 2020. The pandemic caused a global shutdown. Later that year, we held the first virtual World Service Conference. I was on that conference too. Members expressed interest in revising IP number 21, and the 2020 World Service Conference prioritized this work for the 2020-2023 conference cycle. So in other words, they worked on it this past cycle and they put it together, came up with it, and now it's going to be in the car for approval. So according to the survey, showed some surprising results. Less than 25% of the people surveyed reported geographics, remote areas, as the cause of the isolation they experienced. So it's not just people in isolated rural areas anymore. It takes in a lot more people. 2023 to 2025, participants were asked to share their experience on what had led to their isolation, what made the experience of isolation difficult, and what about the experience was transformative, and what tools or resources had helped them. Their input was beautiful, brilliant, and highly emotional. I guess it was. It probably was. All right, so motion 1. Approve the revised IP number 21, Staying Clean in Isolation, contained in Addendum A, as the fellowship approved recovery literature to replace the current IP number 21, The Loner, Staying Clean in Isolation. The Makers of the World Board, the intent is to update this IP originally approved in 1986 with current fellowship experience. Financial impact, none at this time. Policy affected, none. So as far as the financial impact, there's something I learned when I went to Marlikna was that World Services has their own printing presses. They buy the ink, the paper, and they can print these IPs for relatively cheap. They don't have to send it out to a printer. So what they're doing is they're phasing out the old pamphlet in anticipation of whether this is going to pass or not. If it doesn't pass, then they'll print the old pamphlet again. If it passes, then that'll be gone and they'll be printing a new pamphlet. So any questions on that motion? Any
Can I look in there?
No.
It was 40 years ago, it was, IP 21 was,
Yeah.
86.
What page did you say this one was on? 17 to,
You mean the
17.
yeah.
page 17, and then you said addendum something.
Yeah, Addendum A.
Quick question, Lou. Jimmy Attic. So is the new IP in the 87 page?
Yes.
It is.
That's
right?
what
I thought it was.
That's Addendum A.
Okay.
They're going to have an essay on it, and they also have the actual.
They do.
This
Okay.
is addendum.
Look at the index. It'd be easier. But and they're not going to say The Loner anymore. It's just going to say Staying Clean in Isolation.
Yeah, they changed the title.
Yeah.
I got another question. So, simple terms, because what I found, a lot of people that while all of this was going on, whatever cycle, 23 to 26 or before, they had a work group, revised it, sent it out for input, well, like they always do.
Yes.
Here we are, they want to now approve it. And you basically updated an IP from 1986 to today's age. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
look, a lot of people can pick this apart, but there's not a lot of discussion needed because it's going to be an updated version in your home group. That's where we're going to see it.
Right.
When I hear people on Zoom say, I'm in Australia, the nearest NA meeting to me is 500 miles.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
When you got incarcerated people, right? Who are,
Exactly.
so the IP's been needed since 1986. It's just been updated with the times.
Yeah, when they're talking about sending pen pals, having pen pals.
Yeah.
Now it's social media. So they
PO
gotta-
boxes,
they gotta
not
stick with
emails.
different now than we have
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely
That-
different.
Definitely.
It doesn't meet the same requirements.
And cell phones too.
Tony Attic. I totally agree about updating anything from 86
Right.
to today. No matter what, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Well, my curiosity is, how is it going to help the loner? How will the isolated person, how's he going to access this IP?
Which is going to be online.
Let's go, so then he has online access.
Yeah, they can go to na.org, and all the IPs are You can print them out from.
They're accessible now.
So that person needs online access.
Right.
So that way they can access anything and everything that we all can access live or
Yeah.
virtual.
The only thing you can't access, I think, or you can do it audio, is the basic text. It works how and why, that kind of stuff. Any book length pieces that they don't have available because people were printing them and selling them. You know.
I got news for you. They are online.
Are they? Yeah.
I don't know how official that is.
Probably
but-
not official. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they are.
Yeah. Well, listen, you can only do the
But
best
not
you
only
can.
that, we have broadcasts as well.
You can do audio, yeah, you can do audio versions. But, you know, they figure that some people in isolation will get to a meeting at least once or something, you know, and at least they
And
can
in
pick it
here,
up.
it puts a whole bunch of resources, lists the new IP,
Oh, good.
it lists a whole bunch of resources.
What do you mean by resources to explain
Well,
that?
it says that find an NA literature, listen to
Right.
online, go to na.org literature, na.org elit, NA web store, audio, blah, 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 blah. Find meetings and resources to start meetings, virtual meetings, meeting search, how to start a meeting, virtual. So it gives you all of these things in here. NA Rural offers guidance and tools for those serving in rural and isolated communities.
I can't say rural either.
Yeah, it's tough. And then it just talks about where you can go for just regular NA information as a whole.
Right.
It gives the Facebook, Instagram.
Yep, they got all
laws.
kinds of resources.
So it lists all of that on here, which is good.
So another thing I want to explain too is the 3-year cycle now. In 2023, we voted to, at the World Service Conference, we
Is this
voted,
another motion?
no, we voted to go, this was already happened, to do an experiment for 2 cycles, make it 3 year instead of 2 year. Because up until 2000 it was every year, then there was 2 years for the World Service Conference, and now these 2 cycles, 2023 to 2026, 2026 to 2029, is a 3-year cycle. They say they can get more done in the 3-year cycle. But in 2029, we'll vote on whether we want to keep it as 3-year or go back to 2. That's why it's a 3-year cycle now.
Do they have, Debbie added, do they have any information on, I would assume as a whole that saves money?
Yeah,
Because over a period of time, in 6 years, you're doing it twice instead of 3 times.
right.
Do they have any information on how much money that could potentially save NAS?
Well, no, I don't think they made an estimate yet. Not that I know of. They may have, but I haven't heard anything about that. And nobody's asked that question, and that I've been in these webinars and all that. And so they'll find out. They'll know better at the end of 2029, because I'm sure that's going to be part of the motion. They're going to tell you, well, we saved this financially when they make the motion to go to stay at the 3 year.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll do a cost analysis. or
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the main reasons. And, you know, we had an interim World Service Conference on Zoom in 2025, 4, I guess. Yeah, 2024. And there was like 8 motions or 10 motions, legal stuff that had to be taken care of, you know. So I guess they'll adapt to that too. All right, next up, the NA World Services Strategic Plan.
This is motion 2.
Yeah. Now this is really brand new, because the strategic plan was, oh, by the way, I have trouble saying strategic also. The strategic plan was always in the CAT, never in the car. The CAT is the conference approval track. All right.
So the cat's in the car.
Look, you're trying to confuse me? That's very easy to do. Yeah, cat's in the car, that's right. NA World Services Strategic Plan. NA World Services has operated with a strategic plan for over 20 years. What is new is all conference participants have been directly involved in co-creating this iteration of the plan. Now, conference participants are the RDs, RDAs, or they call them ADs, assistant delegate. Any zonal delegates that are representing 2 or more unseated regions in their zone. The World Board members are participating in as conference participants in the webinars and the World Service Conference.
And before it was just the board?
No, before it was, it was actually always that, But I'm just explaining what conference, when they say conference participants, that's what that means. In other words, you can't just get on to the Zoom, because there's like 120, 150, 130 people are on the Zoom webinars, and that's just for conference participants.
How many seated regions are there, Lou?
121 now, I think.
Okay.
120.
Then you got your World Board. Are zones seated?
The only way, no, they're seated if they represent in the zone. There's
Okay.
2 or more regions that aren't seated,
Got it.
so they have representation.
Okay.
They
They have a vote?
yes.
Okay.
But I also think that if there's a region that is seated in their zone, that they vote separately.
Right. Okay.
So the zone is just
Got it.
this way that
What's
people.
the sort of zones was seated?
It's so fast growing around the world.
Yeah.
Fastest growing region is Iran.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yep. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey.
Good to see you. All right. This is the first time the plan has been included in the car, and the fellowship is being asked to adopt the plan. So we have webinars every 2 months to talk about the strategic plan. We go through all kinds of stuff. During webinars, they either last an hour and a half, 2 hours, or 4 hours. During those webinars, we'll go off into what do you call it? Breakout rooms, where we'll just have like 5 or 6 RDs and a World Board member or an old World Board member, and office personnel will get on to take notes, and we'll talk about issues and stuff. And that's how they come up with the strategic plan. All right, moving on. What is a strategic plan? We understand that, in parentheses, in quotation marks, never be organized doesn't mean that we do what we do without any planning or predictability. Strategic planning allows us to live in the present while we prepare for what is to come, proceed step by step and check our direction and our progress, guides change that can improve NA World Services efforts to better address factors within and outside NA that may affect our ability to carry the message. Now there's a chart here of steps in the strategic plan. Completed the WSC 2023 survey based on the priorities identified at WSC 2023. Solutions based on the survey results to be discussed at zones. Objectives and issues developed by the World Board. Interim WSC, that was in April of 2025. Yeah, 2025. Input, CP's input draft objectives and issues. Then in May, solutions are further developed and prioritized. In August, the CP web meetings, CP's review as conference participants. Review and input draft solutions. And then May of 2026 is the WSC, where we'll be voting on the strategic plan. I would really encourage everybody to download or go view the car and read the strategic plan, because there's a lot to it. They have 4 pillars. We'll get into all that stuff. The 4 pillars are key result areas, issues, objectives, and solutions. So let's take a closer look at future. Part of the plan's fellowship support key result area. Fellowship support is about doing the work to ensure that any addict who finds NA feels safe, respected, and valued. One of the issues identified, it's important to address safety and belonging. To address the issue of safety and belonging, objective number 7 in the plan seeks to raise the level of consciousness regarding inclusiveness in our diverse fellowship and develop tools to support groups and ensuring that all members and potential members feel safe, welcomed, and included at in-person and virtual meetings. Now it gets into all this stuff, I'm not going to read it all, about the objectives. Now, in the core survey, for the literature and revising literature and all that stuff, they're going to have a number in a slot at the end of it. And that's the number corresponds with the objective that's in the strategic plan. I tell people, Laney, literature review person in my area. And I don't know if it's that important to include that in when you're doing the explaining what the strategic plan covers and the literature and everything, because it can probably be confusing, you know. But if you want to read it and look at the objectives, that's fine too. Let's go on. The identified solutions we want World Services to undertake to work toward objective number 7 are investigate changes and additional wording to any literature with gender-specific language to gender-neutral and inclusive language. Everything is coming out now that's been printed recently, that's been approved to be printed, is gender neutral language. You can't even tell that it is, but it is. But this is talking about existing literature. Update the service pamphlet or develop a new pamphlet on safety in NA and dealing with predatory behavior. Update the group booklet to add guidance about safety and inclusion. Create a tool to deal with disruptive or inappropriate behavior in virtual meetings. That's a big thing now. Yeah. The fellowship's participation in the CART survey is direct involvement in prioritizing some of the work World Services will be directed to undertake. And like it says here, you can go to the na.org to submit your personal CAR survey responses before April 1st. All right, implementing the plan. The conference approval track, CAT, material will contain the project plans for the work set out in the NOAA strategic plan. The CAT will also include blank project plans that will be used for the projects that are determined by the CAR survey results. So it's all up in the air. You know, like I said, this is the first time we're doing this, so it might be some things we learn along the way. I'm sure there will be. But the conference approval track, we usually, in our region, we usually just vote on it there. You know, the RDE and RDA will vote on it at the World Service Conference. We never before workshopped conference approval track because it came out so late in the process. Now they're coming out earlier, so in the future we might workshop the conference approval track just to see what the region thinks about it. There's other regions in the world that do workshop it, but usually we just depend on the RD and RDA to realize what the region's conscience is by the CAR stuff to vote on the conference approval track. That's going to be more motions that are in addition to the CAR that we'll see at the World Service Conference. Yes. Anybody have any questions along the way? Just raise your hand.
Can you explain again the difference between the CAR and the CAT?
The CAR goes out to the whole fellowship to vote on. And that's, you know, say it's about revising literature or new literature or anything like that. So the whole fellowship votes on those motions, right? The CAT is like housekeeping. Some motions are housekeeping on what we're going to do during the World Service Conference. Like there's a few motions that'll be voted on first, even though they're down the line in the CAT, at the World Service Conference for how we're going to approach it during the World Service Conference as far as voting goes and that kind of stuff. Like the COFACs, the co-facilitators will make decisions, but we make a decision to guide them first, you know. So the conference approval track
For the CAT?
from the whole process of the World
Conference
Board
participants.
and conference participants. So in other words, have you ever read, did you read the CAT?
No.
If you read it, you'll see motion to revise this piece of literature. In other words, this is to tell them what to do during this cycle. The CAT is like the moving on part that will tell you, will tell the World Board, all right, we voted that we want the IP staying clean and isolation. Well, no, that's a bad example. Say before.
Okay,
In
so it's
2023.
stuff from things were voted on
Right.
before that now they have to actually put in place action things that they're going to do moving forward.
Right, that's what happened in
Okay.
2023 when they voted to go ahead and do to revise that IP, staying clean and the loaner, staying clean and isolation. Then in the CAT it told them to go ahead and revise it, you know, or it gave them the
I
permission
got
to
something
do
on
it.
that. Lou, Jimmy had it. So I've always looked at it like this. The conference agenda report comes out to the whole fellowship because there's issues in there that's going to affect the whole fellowship.
Right.
You might, we get to participate as groups, and with these tallies and votes that go up the line to the conference. So that's why you got motions on literature and things like that, when the World Convention is going to be held. The CAT is more of their procedure.
Yes.
It also has some financials in it.
Exactly.
So I look at it like this. Take area, for example. If they're going to vote on something that's going to affect the group, they send that motion back to the groups. That way we have our input and voice. But if they're going to vote on something that, affects the way they do area that isn't going, they're going to vote on it there. And so I say with the CAT, that's the conference participants. That don't mean we don't have a say. If something major there,
Right.
it's probably going to filter back to the car.
Yes.
But the CAT is a separate track that helps them run the conference. So it would be here going through hours and hours of workshops and shit, excuse my language. With CAT stuff, that isn't going to affect members of the group so much. Is that
That's a very good way to
say?
put it. That's why-
Very simple.
That's why I use the term housekeeping. I really shouldn't say that,
and that
but
was, that's a good term.
you have a question, Future?
Like, so you mean like the bulletins would be handled, like if there needed to be a revision, would be handled in the CAT? Because there's some things that in the bulletins that, like the demand deposits, when it's talking about groups trying to get a bank account,
Right.
that no longer exists,
Right.
And so,
That might be a good example, except I'm not positive that would be in the CAT. That was something the World Board might do on their own.
okay.
But that's a good question.
World Board approved.
Yeah. That's a very good question. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask that question.
Thank you.
Yep.
What's the what's this CAT? What's that stand?
Conference approval track.
Okay, conference approval. Thank you.
Yeah. And we never workshop it in our region
Yeah.
because it just, like Jimmy just eloquently explained.
It's all internal.
Yeah, it's mostly internal. But in the future, we might, just to get more of education,
Yeah.
because it's now that they changed, if they stay on the 2020, the 3-year cycle after 2029, then we might change it and start doing it because you have more time before the actual conference happens. The conference approval track comes out sooner than it did before. But we'll see about that. We'll have to vote on that at region. All right, adopting the plan. The motion uses the word adopt rather than approve. The fellowship is being asked to take ownership of, or to adopt, something that your delegates have participated in creating on your behalf for our common welfare. And we participated, believe me. Delegates have worked together to ensure the plan outlines the work World Services most needs to undertake in the 3 years in front of us. Work on the strategic plan will begin at the same time as when this plan will be considered for adoption during the 2026 World Service Conference. In other words, it's going to start after the conference. Okay, so, motion 2, to adopt the collaboratively created 2026-2029 NA World Services Strategic Plan contained in Addendum B. Makers of the World Board, the intent is to improve the results of the collaborative planning that began at WSC 2023 and continue with zonal and conference participant involvement throughout this cycle. Financial impact. No direct financial impact. Any future expenses will be called out in project plans or budgets. In other words, whatever the individual thing is, whatever that costs, that's what will be the effect. Policy affected, none. Is there any more questions about motion 2? And for people who just came in, I'm the regional delegate for New Jersey region, and so I'm a conference participant when they mention conference participants. All right.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Do you know now, are there going to be any live sessions from the World Service Conference on Zoom for members?
Not on Zoom, audio only.
Audio, right. Okay.
Because of-
like a webinar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the anonymity aspect of
Got it. So
They don't wanna be
you
showing
can go in
people's
and
faces.
listen to the conference. Is the whole conference is?
Yep, the whole
Oh,
conference.
okay, cool.
Uh,
Thought so.
But, that's only when we're in session.
Right.
Then we're going to have breakout rooms in the afternoon where we'll go and workshop stuff and everything. That they won't be on
Got it.
because there's going to be too many of them and
Yeah.
be too confusing. So,
And
but
you said this is the first week of May?
Yeah,
First
May
week of May.
3rd to 9th.
3rd to 9th. I'll go out on the 2nd and come back on the 10th. So. But, if you go out on the 1st, I don't want to spend extra money, for the region. But if you go on the 1st, the 2nd, at 10 a.m., they have a bus that goes to the World Service office. But I'll get somebody to take me out there, something like driving, because I'm getting in after that. All right. Next up is the history of NA's World Convention. For over 5 decades, the World Convention has been a celebration of unity and recovery. 1971 to 1996, it was an annual event. In the mid-90s, it became a 2-year schedule held outside of North America every other convention. 1998 to 2009, added 2 extra non-North American locations in the rotation. And in 2012, every 3 years, alternate between U.S. and non-U.S. locations beginning in 2015. So,
You said that one more time. That last part.
last part, in 2012, every 3 years, they were alternating between U.S. and non-U.S. locations. That began in 2015. And we voted to do it, and then it came into effect in 2015. So it was supposed to be U.S. and then outside the U.S. And 2020, I think it was, or 2021, was supposed to be in Australia. They got wiped out because of COVID. So Australia said, well, we're next on in line. We should be able to be next. And they decided to do Washington instead in the United States. And they lost, in Washington, they lost almost $1 million. Because they said that the pre-registrations were right on target, what they thought they were going to get. But the walk-ins, the weekend of it, didn't materialize like they thought. They expected 24,000 and change to break even, and we got less than 18,000 registrations. So that's why they lost so much money. And then there, I don't know if anybody was there, but in the big main meetings, you can see the whole back was empty. And they had to pay for all that meeting space, and all the electronics and everything else. Okay, so it has a chart here of where it was and all that stuff, if you want to look at that in the car. Anyway, it says travel and health concerns entwined with the strain on financial and human resources of NA made canceling the Australia Convention the most responsible action. Okay, it shows, there's another chart here, it says World Convention of NA 38, pre-registration by countries. And obviously the most registrations, over 14,000 were from the United States. And then they showed, like there was one in all of Russia, or maybe it might have been 3 counting these other parts. 46 from Australia, 47 from Brazil. Anyway, WCNA 38, The Power of Love, 18,320 registered members, including 1,206 newcomers, 37,563 total connections for audio stream, 7 translating in 7 languages and hard of hearing, 57 countries represented, 8,490 membership surveys collected, almost 11,000 members used the app. Unity Day meeting, 10 institutions gave shout-outs. They collected $33,869 in 7 tradition, at least 1 million hope shots, 41 entertainers at the convention, 672 basic text handed out, 460 recurring contributions started. Some people will have a monthly contribution to NA World Services. 126 program hours, 191 total speakers, that kind of stuff. All right. Some of the factors considered. Many factors brought the World Board to their decision to offer motion number 3. Overall event expenses, especially audio and video production expenses, the rising costs and increasing complexity of international travel. This day and age, it's a tough thing. Global political and economic climates, etc. The World Board was able to reach consensus on the idea of a revenue-neutral event. In other words, they want to make money, but they don't want to lose money. It's just like anything else in NA. You have to be fiscally responsible with the members' contributions. If conventions provide public relations or fellowship development opportunities that are impactful to the community. No, keeping in mind prior comfort, if conventions provide public relations, fellowship development opportunities. Like in other words, if they went to Australia, there'd be a lot of the Asia Pacific Forum members would be there from Indonesia and countries around there, and that they're just developing NA. Future, the proposed new guidelines seek to, one, change from an every 3-year event to an every 5-year event, and 2, permit the World Board to determine the location. A 5-year cycle is less frequent, making the convention a more special occurrence. It allows our membership more time to plan and attend. There's all kinds of conventions now, so people have to save up money. Puts the convention on track to celebrate NA milestone anniversaries, beginning with our 75th anniversary in 2028. Delegating more of the rotation and location decision-making is prudent simply because so much is unknown. The current rotation plan is no longer practical. The world has become far too unpredictable, especially looking out over long periods of time. So motion number 3 is to hold the World Convention of Narcotics Anonymous, WCNA, every 5 years beginning in 2028. The location to be determined by the World Board based on fiscal and geographic considerations that lend themselves to, at a minimum, a revenue-neutral event. The specific changes to the WCNA guidelines in GWSNA, which is the Guide to World Services of NA, we say GWSNA, are shown in Addendum C. All right, so if you look at that, you'll see. Makers of the World Board, the intent to have guidelines for the World Convention that reflect the changing nature of large events worldwide and support the prudent use of fellowship resources. Financial impact, no direct financial impact. Any future expenses will be called out in project plans or budgets. Policy affected, the policy offered in Addendum C will replace the current WCNA guidelines in GWSNA, pages 46 to 48, shown in Addendum D. So, any questions?
No.
Good.
Tony Addy. Who makes the decisions for the location now?
They have they use an outside contractor to have, what do you call it?
Survey?
They come up with all the financial impact and everything
Of where it's going to be?
of different cities that they're, say, if they went every other convention outside the United States, inside the United States, they would look at the cities in whatever region that they want to go to, say Australia, and they'll say, what would be the best place in that area to be the cheapest to hold the convention, and then the World Board makes the decision, or they'll put it out for consideration, and then I guess we vote on it somehow, and then they'll go with that decision. But what they want to do now is say, well, we're not going to alternate in and out. We're going to do whatever best, whatever city has the cheapest. Trying to go to Europe or trying to go to, I don't know if they're going to try South America or not, but or the Asia Pacific Forum.
So as in the past, has there been a correlation with finances outside the country versus inside the country?
Yeah, we always lost money outside the country. Always.
Have you ever made money inside the country?
Oh yeah, Orlando was a big money maker.
Okay.
Philadelphia, I think, broke even or made a little bit. California, I think they made some money. Hawaii, they probably lost money.
Where is it supposed to be next?
Next one will be 2028 in Dublin, Ireland.
Right, in Dublin.
And
And
then
then, if this is adopted, then the next one wouldn't be till 2033.
Yeah, in the 5 years after that. Yeah. So, future, you got a question?
Yes, I remember something coming down when I was part of the convention committee that they said if conventions are losing money, they need to stop having them. So if that is the case, following their directions, why don't they stop having them? But this thing that the 5 year versus the 3 year, I don't see how that's going to hold water, because when things erupt, they erupt in the middle of 3 years or 5 years. So I don't see, or are they going to take a longer time to plan to now reverse whatever's going to go in place? So I don't really see.
Well, what it is you can't predict.
Yes,
So what they want to do is hold every 5 years so that they have more time to,
back out.
well, not back out, The whole fellowship wants the convention,
Okay, okay.
especially outside the United States, because to them this is like brand new. They're to a lot of places, not
I like
everywhere.
it too. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
follow their direction. That's
Right. Well, that's what it is. They don't want to lose money.
Right.
Because then people will be saying, you got to stop it. You can't be losing this kind of money. That's why they want to change it to these parameters in order to make it so they can, because it really, like I said, helps fellowship development, PR, and everything in newer areas and stuff. But for the 2028, I think they had Frankfurt, I think Barcelona, maybe, or I forget, but they had some different cities. And I saw somewhere there was a chart that showed the comparison, and Dublin by far was the cheapest for meeting space, for hotel rooms, all that stuff.
So worst case scenario, we'll lose money every 5 years instead of every 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about if we
Okay,
change
yeah.
to this, it's 3 conventions as opposed to 5 conventions in 15 years.
Right.
And so they figure this will help. They can have more time to plan.
So we win instead of lose.
Do they also look at the other factors in why they're losing money? Maybe their expenses are too high?
Well, exactly, yeah.
I mean,
That's why they're trying to get their expenses under control by going to the cheapest place.
well, but it's not only the place. It's, what did you say that they had in terms of entertainment or outside activities and all these people that we pay?
Right.
And,
Oh, they'll definitely look at that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that to me is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I agree. Go ahead. Jeff.
It's a sign of the times, too. So, the guy, let's share something real quick. The guy who suggested to Jimmy Kay to have a world convention in 1970 is a guy I see on Zoom a lot. And he said, let's have a world convention. So, 1971, they had the first world convention. 200 people were there. The registration was probably, And so here we are with Washington last year, and it was $175 to register. And it's the unpredictability of who's going to show, or you're going to have a flood or a hurricane or COVID, or, you just can't. So, but I do have a question. In your discussions with other RDs, are most of them feeling this is the right thing to do? Yeah, they are. Because look, for those of us that have been around a while, we saw the World Convention every year. I remember going to St. Louis in 96, then we went to 2 years, 98 was San Jose. I think you said 2012, they went to the 3-year. We didn't miss a blip. And it doesn't matter money-wise, I'll tell you why. We go to the 3-year cycle in 12. Okay, 07.
It actually
It
started.
started in 15.
Voted on in 12.
07 was San Antonio, a United States
I was there.
location.
I was at San Antonio.
Lost 750,000. 09 was Barcelona, lost $1 million. And then here we are, Washington loses 950,000,
Right.
almost $1 million. So, and that's, if you look at those years, 07, 09, yeah, bad. I don't know of others that lost in between or broke even.
Broke even or made
It's
money.
hit and miss, yeah. And, the costs are higher, but I don't think we're going to miss we didn't miss a step, no pun intended, when we went to the 2-year. We really didn't. It gave members 3 years to save up and go for those who struggle financially. Otherwise, it's going to be rich NA members going to the World Convention.
That's what it's another
Right?
factor.
The registration is going to be $500. You're talking about your only vacation a year if you can afford that. I don't know.
And there's other things they want to consider too.
Yeah.
So that if this passes and they're able to make all the decisions without having to go to the fellowship, the other thing they're considering is having a cap on the amount of members so that they know they have to rent this much space and that's it.
Oh.
But this is just
So
something
they're
they're floating
talking,
around.
yeah, sure.
So they're thinking about outside the box. Let me tell you something. From my personal experience, I've been on the board of trustees for the New Jersey Regional Convention for a long time. I was chair twice. I'm not on it right now because this takes up so much time. But I can see that in the future, this model of the hotels with room blocks and food and beverage, paying for your meeting space and all that, it's going out the window.
Yeah.
The trend so far is going away from that because they're charging so much more for rental space now for your meetings and that kind of stuff. They're changing it all around. The room rates are going up. Luckily, in New Jersey, we got contracts that are binding that, this year coming up is going to be, we'll make money probably, but It's tough. The conventions are getting to be tough anymore. Doing more stuff like this, where it's a different type of venue.
Restructure.
Yeah.
Restructure. Instead of everything coming from a central location of
Right.
the world, all the finances, it could be divvied among regions and to sponsor certain events and things of that nature.
Right.
Do you know how they plan the convention? Like, there's a planning committee. Does the fellowship in any way, shape, or form?
No, but they do ask the local fellowship, wherever they're going, for some support. They should probably ask for maybe a little bit
Yeah,
more
they have a
support
host
than what they
committee.
do. Yeah, there's a host
Yeah,
committee.
a host committee for that, but I mean, I just really hone in on the cost and all these extra costs of the I mean, what was that number that you said when you were in the beginning? You were reading off different numbers for different things, and you said something about, it was towards the beginning of the list, entertainers or something.
Yeah, there's a. Oh, here you go. 41 entertainers, including all bands,
Yeah.
DJs, and comedians. Yeah, they pay for them. You know.
Right. Like, where does, I just
Making a
question-
decision?
Yeah, and where does somebody look at that?
Well, it's happened over a period of years where people want it, and then they add it, and add it, and add it, and add it. You know, and now
Yeah,
they're
they
having
had
to look at all that
Clapton in
stuff.
'98 in San Jose.
I mean, I
Hey,
loved
brother.
when they had Sticks in Philly or whatever, but people aren't going to these things. So they have the jazz band, the blues
Yeah, you got to
band,
make a choice
the
to
this
eat
band.
or go to a concert.
Right,
Yeah.
and the cost is so high. So is anybody looking at?
It's not an NA convention anymore. It's an entertainment
Yeah.
convention.
No, but they're looking at all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the whole point. They want to look at all of it.
I hope so. I don't necessarily believe it.
So are world conventions the largest drain of NA funds?
Well, no, you know, I'd have to ask that question, but they, you know, translations and literature that they give away to other countries that can't afford it. Literature really is probably the most.
Good cause, but
Yeah. But
Where the money's
it might be
going.
pretty close. I don't know. But you know, they have contingencies. They have like a prudent fund for losses in what do you call it?
The
But-
financials, are they common knowledge, financials?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you go on NA.org, I forget what it's under, but you can get all the financial reports.
Yeah.
Oh, under the
Surveys, right?
it's called the annual report.
Right.
Look
That's
on the annual report, and it'll have all the finances.
all their budgets, approvals and all that.
They had
all the
changed.
expenditures.
They had changed their CPA or you know whoever put it together. It took a little bit more time that cycle, but it's up now on the annual report. You can see all that and compare. But
I have to step out for a minute.
all right, I'll stop. All right.
We could get going. It should be quick.
Also, one thing I want to add, probably should do it at the end, but right now I can add that the amendments haven't come out yet. The deadline for amendments are March 3rd. And after that, they'll work them out and they'll come out probably 2 weeks later.
Oh,
So I know there's an amendment coming out on this.
right.
I'm not sure how it's going
Four?
to look.
On 4
4 and 5.
and both. Okay.
But 3, 4, and 5, definitely.
Oh, the amendments coming out on the World Convention.
Yeah,
motion.
somebody-
Okay.
So
It is close.
I read somebody was putting an amendment out because we have a discourse that we follow, and I forget what region it was putting. We're going to submit an amendment. I don't know if it's going to go through or not, saying that it should be stayed every 3 years because our older members are dying off and they're not going to get a chance to see. So I don't know how much that'll hold water, but
I got a response to that, but I don't want to tie up because you mentioned it. Last night we bumped into each other and said hello, and I asked if there was a car. Worked out, and you said yes. And you briefly told me that. I'm an old timer, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been to 7 World Conventions. If someone says don't have the world, we got to keep it at 3 years so old timers can go. I did the 7 World Conventions. If you got 30, 35, 40 years, you haven't been to one yet.
Right.
You're going to hold up the whole fellowship because you didn't go.
Yeah,
yet.
that's-
And we're getting older and can't travel. I understand kind of the reasoning, but when I look at the course and the cycle, and like I said, 5 years isn't going to impact my personal recovery.
I agree.
Oh, you know what would be a good are younger people going? You just said that.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
don't think younger people go
To the world.
It's
I saw a lot of young people in Washington.
It's
A whole bunch of
right.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I didn't even, I forgot, I paid $175.
And
Just
you forgot to
registration.
go?
I know, I just forgot.
Let
When you
alone
mentioned, I was like, what?
Yeah, but the advantage young people have is they're still living with their parents, so they can
Yeah.
afford it, you know. In this day and age. All right, now we're going to move on to regional motions. All right. Motion number 4, to direct the World Board to create a project plan for consideration at WSC 2029 to research and explore the opportunities and obstacles of providing book-length pieces of literature to the incarcerated on tablets, in addition to the IPs and audio version of the 5th edition basic text that already exist on inmate tablets. Makers the Arizona region, co-makers are Florida, Ohio, Northern California, Southern California, Sweden, UK, and Utah. Intent to give the conference and fellowship the ability to meaningfully discuss the opportunities and obstacles of making book-length pieces of literature available to the incarcerated on tablets. Financial impact. There is minimal cost in creating a project plan. The cost to Knowles would be in the project itself if the WSC were to adopt and prioritize the plan. Okay, here's the rationale by the region. Narcotics Anonymous exists to carry a message of hope and freedom to every addict seeking recovery, including our members behind the walls. As correctional systems increasingly transition from physical books to secure digital tablets, many incarcerated addicts are being cut off from book-length NA literature such as Just for Today, It Works How and Why, and Living Clean. Without action, this shift threatens to limit access to the foundation of our message for some of our most isolated members. Approving this motion would allow the World Board to develop a project plan exploring practical, principled ways to make our fellowship's book-length literature available through prison tablet systems. This plan would examine logistical, legal, financial, and fellowship-related issues, ensuring that any approach upholds the principles of self-support and preserves the integrity of NA's intellectual property, as outlined in the Fellowship Intellectual Property Trust, the FIPT. That's very important. Many incarcerated members already face disparities in literature access, depending on facility policies and geography. Some of them don't allow books anymore.
Or maybe
Amazing.
something.
Yeah. Let me finish this now. Exploring digital options will help the fellowship respond to these inequities while adapting to a changing environment. It also presents an opportunity to strengthen our trusted servant relationships with correctional institutions, ensuring that NA literature remains accessible to those with limited financial resources. By supporting this motion, the World Service Conference would affirm our commitment to carrying the message to all addicts regardless of circumstance, and empower the World Board to be proactive, bringing back informed options for fellowship review and approval. Okay. No, I missed the page. World Board response. This is their response to this motion. The World Board shares the maker's commitment to ensuring that all addicts, including those who are incarcerated, have access to NA literature and the message of recovery. We recognize the shift from printed books to digital tablets and correctional systems offers both opportunities and challenges. We believe this motion is unnecessary, as NA World Services is already engaging in ongoing efforts to make literature accessible in correctional facilities while upholding self-support and the integrity of the Fellowship Intellectual Property Trust. We currently work with vendors and departments to provide at no cost materials already available on na.org. Talking about IPs and stuff like that. The basic text is available in 12 languages in audio, and IPs, booklets, and translated materials are accessible in 61 languages. An introductory guide to NA with 10 IPs and the steps chapter from the basic text is soon to be available in English and Spanish audio. Providing full-length books on tablets is not a simple solution. Correctional environments vary widely. Many still require physical books. We do not contract with for-profit tablet companies that would charge for materials we provide for free. Our focus remains on accessibility, not commercialization. It is important to recognize that NA World Services remains largely funded through literature sales, a considerable amount of which comes from initiatives to help incarcerated addicts. We make many resources freely available because we believe deeply in our mission. We must also ensure the sustainability of the services that allows us to carry that message worldwide. We once offered PDFs of major titles online, but massive unauthorized distribution forced their removal. Audio materials, especially in Spanish, are now the most frequently accessed resources on inmate tablets. This has guided our recent recording projects. As has been our practice for more than 2 decades, NOLS continues to provide free literature to incarcerated members upon request and offers a basic text after continued contact. We also recognize the importance of H&I efforts to carry meetings to facilities as well as re-entry support, including helping members who receive addiction medication to feel welcome in NA. While digital tools will continue to evolve, our balanced approach, combining technology, human connection, and financial responsibility remains the most effective way to carry our message. The motion's intent aligns with work already in progress at NA World Services. So what they're saying is we're already doing it, but they want to be directed to have to do something. You know, and when I attended the workshops at Marlickton and Merle and everything, the World Board were talking about how, you know, even in New Jersey, you have federal, private, and state institutions have different rules. So around the world, to try to adapt and make this, you know, one plan of is all encompassing will be tough. That's what they're saying. Any questions or comments?
No, I like your response.
I got,
Go ahead.
I got something else. Yeah, Jimmy had it.
You want to set that up or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Tell you.
So this motion, from what I've been in a few other workshops, and I have a question real quick. When was the last time a regional motion passed at the World Service Conference? Do you know or recall?
Yeah, last service conference.
They did. And when before that?
Not positive.
A decade maybe? Several years at least?
I can't even guess.
Yeah, so what happens a lot, these world board motions are made and they seem to fly through.
Right.
And the regional motions never really get past that much.
That's probably an absolutely true statement.
Okay, so, you know, I'm just an informed NA member, right? And I have an H&I commitment. So I looked at this a little closer because it's a regional motion. And
My condolences.
I can feel like it's one for the World Board to give us direction and guidance, and you know they're informed and they run the fellowship with the approval of the conference. And when a region makes a motion, I look at that a little closer because that's the fellowship speaking.
Absolutely.
And I see Arizona made this motion. I went to an NA Public Relations webinar, an NA World Services, and Arizona was on there. And they can't get in the prison system in Arizona, but what they did, they started making audio tapes of incarcerated members, some who got clean while incarcerated, some who got clean, and they're getting the audios. And I'm saying, wow, that's a pretty creative thing. Then I heard about these H&I virtual prison meetings. And I'm saying, wow, I'd like to know more about that. I put my name, phone number, and email in the chat at this webinar. This guy emailed me. He said, hey, I wanted to kind of get different speakers for the jail meeting I'm doing virtually. And I said, where are these virtual prison meetings? This is the guy that started them. They started them in Ohio. And he invited me to one. And you go on Zoom, it's invitation only, like an H&I panel. There's 12 to 15 NA members, and then 5, 6, 7 prisons log on. And each of those Zoom prison meetings have 20, 30, up to 50 inmates. There's 200 inmates on there. They do the readings, they share. We're just there to kind of show up and support. And if someone doesn't get up quick enough to share, they'll call on one of the... It's freak. I'm like, wow, unbelievable.
Does the panel share? Like an HAC panel?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's a combination of PR and H&I. It's not like a traditional. So I'm like, and it's Central Ohio area, PR subcommittee that started this. Well, they get prisons from Ohio, Indiana, Colorado, New Mexico, Rhode Island, and I do the county jail here in Middlesex. I'm like, holy shoot, they're like miles ahead of us. So we can't get in the state system in New Jersey.
That's the
There's
problem.
17 prisons in New Jersey. We're in one
Yep.
in Burlington. That's the state level. And then you got the county. I believe we got 4 county jails in northern New Jersey region and 3 or 4 in our region. So I took a closer look at this. I go to a car workshop just like this, and everyone says, yeah, World is right. It's going to cost too much. We're already doing it. And so I called the dude up in Ohio. I go, look, people aren't feeling this on the East Coast because they don't understand it. He goes, yeah. I go, they're thinking, and I've heard another workshop, this motion means go buy tablets for millions of dollars. But that's not what it means. It means producing new literature that's going to cost a lot. And a big concern is the copyrights, the trademark, the fellowship, intellectual property. He goes, listen, in simple terms, all we're asking is World to create a project plan on the pros and cons and come back in the conference in 29 and tell us what you found. Because there's 2 million people incarcerated. The average reading level is of 70 or 80% can only read 4th grade level. So RIPs and books don't work for them. They need the audio, the e-lit. So I said to him, well, how's this work? And I know for a fact, like if you're in certain prisons, you go to the library, check out a tablet, and you could watch movies, and you could download, and you can get NA literature. Mm-hmm. You go on NORS today, nors.na.org, and how many of you sat in a virtual meeting, someone sends a link, if you're a newcomer, here's IPs for free. You
Right.
click on, you get the IPs. This is what they're kind of talking
Yes.
about. They're not looking at this high cost to World. And we just talked about conventions losing millions of dollars. Anyway, I said, wow, if this region and all these regions are supporting this, there got to be something to this. And so last week, I went to a prison meeting on Monday, and he said, hey, I got some good news for you. Delhi, India contacted us and wanted to know about our project and the prisons. We sent them PowerPoints, we sent them formats, and they did a presentation, and now NA, H&I is going into all the prisons in India. So my head says, if they can get audios into Arizona, and they can do prison meetings like they do out in the Midwest, and they just did this project that went worldwide into India, and they're saying this motion is good, it got my attention. So,
Where are they, for those meetings, where are they getting the literature? Like, they have access to the meetings now, but where are they getting literature?
They can go, well, in the county jail I do, we bring in literature to them. We don't bring it in because we're a virtual meet. We drop it off. We get it. They're still doing literature. I
But
don't
how
know.
is, I'm guessing, I'm trying
There's
to...
many different ways.
So let me say one more thing. You go on NA.org right now and look up eLit, and guess what you're going to find? Apple, Google, Barnes & Noble, and I forget the other one. They already partnered with some of these people,
Right.
and they're getting their cut. And there's a way to do
But
this,
but my
but
question
in
is
prison,
how-
it's uploaded on their tablets.
But then, I think more of the question is working with the different things and getting it uploaded. 'Cause
There's
some
a-
of the
there's an
prisons
app.
don't
There's
want
actually
to
an
give
app.
this information to their inmates.
This is what amazed me. Here we have very little activity at the state level.
Right.
In fact, very little, and we're working on that, some of us. The dude said to me, which county jail are you doing? I tell him. He sent me the app with the list. They have access to the NA literature in Middlesex County Jail, and they don't know it.
Right, that's the problem,
And-
it's more the
and-
PR
and we'll-
thing. and
Some
they
of it
don't-
is.
and they
That's
don't
why they're
want
doing it
them
with
to
PR.
have it.
I like this motion personally. If they're saying they're only asking, they're going to amend this too.
The
So we don't know what
amendment's
the
coming,
final motion's going to
amendment's
be.
coming?
Yeah.
But let me just read this real quick, and I want to inform people because
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I told people in the first workshop of this, it's easy to sit here and say, you know what? Arizona's making this, it don't affect New York and New Jersey. We look over it with a minimum concern. I don't think that's the right approach. I think you talk to people from Arizona,
Yeah,
you see
I
these
saw 'em at
people,
Merle.
and like they're telling you a little
They
more
were really
firsthand stuff.
passionate. Very
So it's easy to say, that don't affect me.
But didn't you say they're already submitting, giving them tapes and all that already?
The
whole question
region's
is-
doing that at the regional
The
level.
only
So-
big
so is Roll.
question is putting it on a tablet, sending the information, the
Yeah.
FDIP.
Only full-length books. Everything else is already being done
Okay,
on
the
tablets.
full-length book.
Yeah.
Full
Let me
length.
just read this piece. This is from the makers of the motion. When access to NA literature depends on geography, policy, and H&I capacity, H&I meaning if we can't get in there, they're not getting it, unless they have these tablets that already have it. Inequity follows. A review and discussion of the CAR Motion 4. Motion 4 asks the World Board to study that gap, nothing more. No contracts, no giveaways, just facts, data, and options so the fellowship can decide or whether not to respond. Because what's available in theory isn't always accessible in practice. And just one more piece. Read on for a detailed analysis. What Motion 4 actually asks is, Motion 4 does not propose giving away NA literature, contracting with tablet vendors, or bypassing conference approval. It asks the World Board to examine responsible, principled ways to make book-length NA resources available on prison tablets while explicitly protecting self-support and the Fellowship Intellectual Property Trust. So I'm hearing responses like
Yeah.
that just don't hold up when the intent and what they're trying to do and the need is there. So there's this balancing act, and it's going to get amended. I'm guessing it's not going to pass because the World Board is against it, and a lot of the people vote in favor of what the World Board says, good or bad. But I don't know if we're missing an opportunity that would broaden these projects that they're doing out there in these other states that we haven't been able to do in 6 years since the pandemic.
Very valid point.
Yeah.
And, good.
I think also what we're missing is the explanation that you just provided, even though it's in print, because I missed all that when you were reading what you were reading.
It's coming from the makers, it's
Right.
not in the CAR
It's not in
report.
Well, it
None
needs-
of us, like I say, we could sit here and say,
Where'd you
Hey.
get that?
from the people in Ohio who are
You're probably-
co-makers of this
You'll
motion.
probably see it in the amendment. You'll probably
Well,
see more
yeah,
something
you
like
need
that.
to, because like the way it's
Yeah.
presented.
Right.
So that's
you know,
just to
you
give
could
you a
leave-
little more information. There's another side of this story that we're not hearing. And let me say one more thing. What about the groups that already submitted their tallies? How do they go back now and do these amended motions?
Well, they should have submitted them yet, yeah.
They should have waited to the deadline.
Yeah, but what'll happen
Okay.
is,
How do the amendments work?
we're gonna figure that out. We're not sure yet. So, because I asked that question on the last webinar, and they said that you vote on the motion, and I guess we vote on the amendment first, whether we want the amendment or not. Then we go back and vote on the motion, just like you would normally do
Yeah.
in Robert's Rules of Order. But, so, when the amendments come out, then they're gonna be put on to the website. So you can vote for the motion, and I guess you can vote for the amendment also.
Is
I mean,
the
if they already
amendment
did.
coming out before the
Before-
conference?
Yeah, before the deadline.
Yeah, before. We'll see it
It's
eventually.
2 weeks,
somehow.
probably about 2 weeks from now, it'll probably be out.
So,
I'm not really understanding your, my group just did, we just did our motions, we have one more to do. So are you saying now they're coming out with amendments, so it's good?
On 2 motions. The
No,
2 regional?
3 motions.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 motions. Go ahead, Liz.
So, what do we do about that?
We'll wait for the amendments come out, then they'll be put onto the website, and then you can vote on the amendment too.
So we gotta do them over? Oh my God, my group's gonna go crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't have to, you don't want.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Who's making the amendment? The makers of the motion, right?
Some are making a motion, some are not.
Yeah.
Like, the motion number 3, which is the World Board motion, is another, somebody making an amendment on that.
Yeah, my group's
So,
crazy.
The amendment's just to
If that were to be-
clarify usually.
These guys are gonna do it for tax.
If that were to pass as is, none of this would be addressed.
Right. Or be addressed like he just did in workshops, you know? Like, for instance, I know that we have, I think Ohio started this, and we adapted Fellowship Behind the Walls.
Yeah.
And we have that subcommittee now, and it's going nowhere. It's just dead in the water.
Oh, in the region. Yeah,
the region.
right.
It's dead in the water.
Did it
But I
ever
think Ohio is
get
the
any
first one.
tread? Did it get any tread? This is Behind the Walls Regional
Matter of fact, there's not
Subcommittee.
even
The commitment's open.
Yeah,
The
commitment's open.
person who took it had a lot of enthusiasm,
Then it just-
but only went so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Peter,
don't you
But
think
at
that's
least
a
we
personal
tried,
thing?
you know.
what's that?
I think it's a person thing. It takes a lot of work to
Yeah.
break these barriers down.
Oh, yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot of work and a lot of perseverance.
It's been going, ask Mickey, he'll tell you, it's been going for a long time in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, with, incarcerated. Sorry.
That's my 2 cents.
All right, so we're going to move on.
Thank you for that.
I liked it.
No, that's,
Good point.
you have to have other perspectives. You have to, because
Well, and that's, I told my group that too. I'm like, this is just for them to like look into it. We're not voting yes or no on like whether or not it's happening. We just want to know, we want an investigation.
right, which is different from the next motion,
Yes.
which they want to implement it right away.
Yes.
And that's definitely going to have a. All right, motion 5 to direct the World Board to implement artificial intelligence (AI) interpretation solutions for WSC meetings, both in person and virtual, to replace the current human live language interpretation. Maker is South Florida region. Co-makers are Iran, UK, and Nepal. The intent is to eliminate language barriers, ensuring that all voices are heard globally, enhancing our communication and time efficiency during business meetings. This initiative also aims to reduce the risk of human interpretation errors and potential absences during our sessions. I guess if the interpreter has to go to the bathroom or something. Financial impact of implementing this technology is expected to be significant, but has not yet been determined pending further analysis. The rationale by region. We would like to provide further clarification regarding the intent of this initiative. Our objective is to empower RDs and ADs whose primary language is not English, enabling them to articulate their perspectives more effectively in their native language during direct discussions. This will reduce the reliance on interpreters. Additionally, this approach aligns with our second concept. The service structure will seek guidance and resources from the groups, including spiritual guidance, which we regard as a matter of conscience in this context. Okay, World Board response. World Services shares the goal of improving communication and participation at the World Service Conference, especially for members whose first language is not English. Removing barriers to participation is something we deeply value. However, this motion would limit the conference's ability to adapt and make timely operational decisions. We support experimenting with new technology to enhance accessibility and efficiency, but this motion mandates a specific tool, AI interpretation, to replace human interpreters. That replacement is the concern. The human interpreters, nearly always NA members, bring accuracy, cultural understanding, and a spiritual connection that technology cannot replicate. Replacing them would undermine effective communication at the WSC. We've long held that WSC participants themselves are best positioned to test and decide on process changes, as noted in our 2023 CAR response, allowing participants to make decisions about the processes that affect the WSC meeting is significantly more nimble than making these types of changes through the CAR. Given how quickly technology evolves, flexibility is more practical than a rigid policy. AI tools could be explored as supplements, not replacements, in smaller settings or between conferences, but mandating them now without trials or research is premature. WSC interpreters do far more than translate. They convey recovery concepts, emotional tones, and cultural nuances vital to understanding. They also help participants between sessions, ensuring the two-way communication that AI cannot yet provide. Conference discussions sometimes include sensitive matters. AI-based systems pose potential privacy risks and lack the understanding of NA's traditions that human interpreters bring. Current technology also struggles with accuracy, speed, and context, especially with our specialized recovery language. The World Board supports continued exploration of new tools to aid communication, but not as mandated substitutes for human interpreters. The WSC's success depends on flexibility, inclusivity, and spiritual connection, not automation. We encourage ongoing experimentation and dialogue at the conference level as technology continues to evolve. All right. Any questions, discussion? So, being at the conference.
I got the cat up on the screen.
Oh, nice.
Oh, great.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
And you could do the rest of the workshop like that?
You can do the rest of the work.
Good.
Thank you.
Nice.
You guys want to sit over here, you can probably sit
Yeah.
over here.
I got someone speaking at 10:30, but go ahead. I wanted to hear the motions.
So, sitting in the conference, like we were sitting at the last conference, we were sitting next to the Japanese interpreter and the Japanese RD and RDA. It was pretty cool watching. And then they have a booth in the back where they have Spanish, they have Portuguese, because Brazil is a big part of the fellowship that speaks Portuguese. And I saw Russian, with the Russian interpreter next to him. Who else?
French.
No, French, they don't have an
French was
interpreter.
there.
There was one other one.
Ukraine.
No,
Asian, probably.
yeah. But anyway, sometimes I need an interpreter for the Australian people. Our liaison to the world is Tim. He's a real good guy. But I can't understand what he says. He's Australian. So anyway, and like you said, specialized language and all that, you got to take that into consideration. And I think what they're really against here is that they want to implement it the next,
Conference.
and the conference participant webinars that we do every 2 months up
Yeah.
till the next conference.
They think it will save a lot of money? Not having, flying in translators
It's
and
going to cost
pay-
them more money.
It's gonna cost more.
Yeah. From what, they haven't really done the study yet, so we don't
Well,
know.
that's the
But
thing, you gotta do
Yeah.
that's the other thing. It says,
change it to a project plan, maybe.
right.
One downside I see is, if you ever watch a video on YouTube and it's AI produced,
Right.
and they have the captions,
Yeah.
and it's not accurate.
Never accurate.
So for our concern, like you go to Russia, higher power might not be translated exactly, and I've heard this over the years with other languages. So AI isn't going to capture the full meaning of some of these, the way it's
And
is
AI isn't
now,
always
unless they
accurate
really,
either.
right, not accurate.
I've been to meetings in Italy,
More spiritual.
and at the end, instead of saying, serenity prayer, they say God, they say Signore.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So every culture has its different
Yeah.
way of doing it. And during the conference, they have a light. When that light starts flashing, it means slow down while you're talking.
Right.
So the interpreters can keep up.
Yeah.
In AI, it might just jumble it all up
Yeah.
instead of saying slow down. So who knows? So, but there's an amendment coming out, definitely,
Okay.
on this. And I think it's going to be about
So the
doing
two
projects.
regionals are going to be amended, and which the World Convention?
World Convention. As far as I know, from what I've heard so far.
Well, look, I appreciate it. I came really for this portion. If you want to see one of those prison meetings, let me. I can't invite everyone. They only usually allow H&I people. But if you want to see one of them, to see firsthand, like,
Well, I used to be
the
H&I chair
power.
in my area, so.
Oh, that would help.
I gotta go.
How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
All right,
So
so,
if we provide all these interpreters now, where's the language?
What's your name, Tony?
Tony C.
well, they think that for every, see, they also say that to be a participant in the World Service Conference, you should be able to speak English. It's an English-speaking conference. So,
You're kidding.
but there's some that speak better English than others.
Centric.
Well, but what they want to do is be able to have every language in the world be able to be interpreted through AI, which is a good thing. But, good.
I went to the European Conference in Cairo last year, and this is all of the countries all through Europe and Scandinavia. Their language that they run the European Conference in is English, because in most countries, it doesn't matter what your first language is. In most countries throughout Europe and Scandinavia and even in the East,
Middle East,
your second language is English. So the entire, now there's a lot of members in there that still had interpreters with them. But for a country with no country in there, and the reason they do that, the reason the European Conference is in English, is because the only country that speaks English was England. Most of the other countries speak other languages. So if they pick Spanish, then you're just favoring Spain, which is a member of the conference, or you're favoring this language, that language. So they tried to pick a language that everybody knew and wasn't favoring any particular country.
Because in business, too, English is like the
Yeah.
universal language. Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay. Go ahead, Laney.
So is it wrong to abstain from this because it does not affect me at all?
No.
Like, let the people that it does affect on this and like let their vote carry?
Well, there's one thing that they ask you to do when you're voting on this stuff, the World Board asks you to do, is realize this is a global fellowship, not just our own backyard, right? So think of it in global terms when you're voting on stuff. But you have
Right,
always
but-
have
but
the
my
option to
thing is,
abstain.
Like, you know, I work with, in my job, I work with a lot of people who English is not their primary language. Some of them prefer to have an interpretation, and some of them prefer their phone.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what I want, to be honest. I
Right.
don't know. Would I want someone sitting next to me and like maybe skipping stuff, or do I want to be able to just watch my phone? I don't know.
Abstain is always a choice that you can make, because if you don't have enough information,
Yeah.
you should abstain.
Right, okay.
Or if you can't decide, you should abstain. You know, don't just say yes or no. And the other thing, when I was in Italy, and I introduced myself, and they said, "Oh, you want us to do it in English or Italian?" I said, "No, Italiano." You know, but even in a group setting, they asked if they want to do it in English, because, and when I talk to the waiters in Italian the best I can, and they want to talk back to me in English. I'm like, "Wait, what are you doing?" But they want to practice their English, you know. Any other discussion or questions on this? But no, abstaining is definitely an option. There's no question about that. All right, moving on to the car survey. Okay, so gender neutral language in NA literature is one of two topics with discussion questions. The discussion questions are in the survey. Discussions, opportunity to hear each other and gather and submit thoughts on the topics. Gender neutral language can include three separate things. The words we use to describe our members and potential members. The words, pronouns we use to describe higher power, God of understanding, and the words of our steps and traditions. Example of gender neutral language when talking about our members and potential members is IP number 7 in my addict, which reads very simply, an addict is a person whose life is controlled by drugs. Right now it says man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. So they're talking about changing that. Or, you know, they wanted to have a discussion about whether they should change that or not. The man or woman or a person may seem insignificant to many of us. Yet for some addicts it can make all the difference in feeling a part of. Which, you know, that's another challenge that we have, is getting people who feel alienated on the outside to come under our umbrella. That, you know, we welcome everybody, regardless of gender, race, or on all that stuff. Every addict in the world has a chance to experience our message. In keeping with gender neutrality, a Vision for NA service was revised by changing the phrase in his or her own language and culture to read in their own language and culture. That's the World Board put that out, then they all voted on the Vision for NA service. Looking at our history, the chapter on how it works in the basic text once read, the only way to keep from getting or continuing a habit is not to take that first fix, pill, or drink. In 1986, the World Conference voted to revise the statement to read, the only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. So instead of being specific, you know, they changed it. So they're just giving examples of how they've changed language in the past. The language in 1986, from that first fixed pill or drink to that first drug, lost nothing and carried as much weight as it ever did. Other possible simple revisions, like changing a non-profit fellowship or society of men and women to a non-profit fellowship or society of people, could be just as effective. Gender-specific language is excluding, causing members and potential members not to feel fully accepted or included. Now, you know, we say, you know, we take everybody, and once you get in and get some time in NA, you know, you realize what it means, you know. But I guess people just coming around, you know, like we said, we can use excuses to disqualify ourselves from being in NA, right? So they could use that as an excuse to say, no, that's not for me because they didn't include my specific way I feel about my gender or non-gender or whatever. So in 2023, the World Service Conference passed Motion 14 directing the World Board to create a project plan for consideration at the next WSC to investigate changes and or additional wording to NA literature from gender-specific language to gender-neutral and inclusive language. Any new literature that comes out now is going to be gender-neutral. like I think Living Clean is gender neutral. Gender neutral language has been on the fellowship's radar for the last 2 cycles. The World Board intends to engage conference participants in discussions just on language used to describe our members and potential members. So in other words, we're not going to talk about any changes to saying God or anything like that, just about gender neutral. Also, the project plan called for motion 14 from 2023 CAR, from the 23 CAR will be included in the conference approval track material. Investigating changes and or, go ahead, sorry.
So, part of that is, when referring to God, the word God will be used, not he, or it would be God.
Yeah, I don't think there have any chance of, any plans of changing any of the full book length, or it's definitely basic text, but I guess in IPs but yeah, it'd probably be God instead of he, or,
Right.
but that's a really sticky subject right now. I don't think they're going to get into that quite yet,
Oh, that's not.
the God part of it.
Oh.
It's just going to be about how members identify themselves. Right?
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Or how we identify members. Instead of saying man or woman, say people and that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of people say, oh, they're taking God out of the fellowship, So right now they're just letting that, So it's a kind of a sticky.
So the gender neutral motion does not include the God issue.
Not that, we'll get into it a little bit more, but I don't think
Okay.
yeah, they're not talking about
There's
that.
some workshops going on in my area that maybe
Right, they're-
put that in there,
yeah.
like, I don't know.
See, because it says, World Board intends to engage conference participants in discussions just on language used to describe our members and potential members.
Okay.
Investigating changes and or additional wording from gender-specific language to gender-neutral and inclusive language is identified in one of the 4 solutions to address the issue of safety and belonging, to fulfill Objective 7, all that stuff. Raise the level of consciousness regarding inclusiveness in our diverse fellowship, and develop tools to support groups in ensuring that all members and potential members feel safe, welcome, and included at in-person and virtual meetings. Concerns about changing. That altering our foundational text may cause NA to lose some of its time-honored strength. About setting a precedent of revising literature anytime someone dislikes how it is phrased. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Although not broken, the current language of NA is not working for everyone. Members feel excluded, particularly by gendered language in group readings. Data shows that members perceive their first NA meeting as very important, and 83% reported identification as a key component of what influenced them to stay in NA. We discount those potential members who are missing from the conversation when we conclude that literature worked for us as written when we were new, so it should work for everyone the same way. That's what I was getting at when you first come in. I first came around 89 or 90, and I disqualified myself right away because of mentioning God, telling me I can't drink, having to do, telling my deeper secrets to another man. I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that. So I never got clean, so I never relapsed, but I was in meetings. In recovery, we learn to focus on our similarities, not our differences. However, newer members, often viewing themselves as terminally unique, is a spiritual principle of unity that guides us as we discuss how to make addicts everywhere feel welcome in Narcotics Anonymous. Our common welfare should come first. All right, so they have this discussion icebreaker, because so many of the discussions we are having this cycle are asking us to consider the experience of those coming into Narcotics Anonymous and trying to decide whether this is home. Before we discuss the topic, we want to take a few minutes to consider some of the ways in which we each may have felt terminally unique when we came in. Think back to when we were new, or some of the ways you felt different or unique, or like an outsider, and want to help you recognize that NA was where you belonged. So if anybody has anything they want to discuss about that.
When I came in, I never shot drugs, so
Right.
that was my thing.
There you go.
Like I couldn't really, why am I here? I shouldn't really be here.
Right.
Yep, me too.
Me 3.
Before. I thought, I'm not junkie, I never shot up. What are you talking about? Although I was chewing up OxyContins, 50 milligram OxyContins, chewing them because they release all at once,
Yeah.
But I'm not. So, okay. Discussion questions, again, for the purpose of these Questions or focuses on language that describes members and potential members, people only. So they're not going to talk about the God thing or nothing like that.
And this is the survey questions.
Yeah. This is the questions that they have in there. Don't change the meaning of the message in our literature just from going from men and women to people. It doesn't change our message. All right. Given that we all want to provide a safe, welcoming, inclusive fellowship where everyone can recover regardless of, we are willing to explore these types of changes in our literature in order to carry the message more effectively. If not, why not? So that's a discussion that, you get your home group to write down what their feelings are on it. I don't know how they're going to quantify it, but I guess they're going to read it and see the prevailing nature of what the fellowship as a whole feels about it, Like in other countries, this is a whole different, the cultures, it's a whole different discussion because the way their languages are set up.
Everything has gender in
Yeah.
other countries. Every object.
Yeah. So, it's, something it's not an easy thing to parse out, I guess. Okay, moving on.
Are you
Okay,
reading out the PowerPoint or the,
I'm reading from the PowerPoint from Troy from Connecticut.
okay. I don't know if you want me to pull something up on the screen. I got a little PowerPoint.
If you want to pull up the,
Which one is it?
it's got the DRT, MAT, and NA helping members
I
take
have
root.
that one. That's PowerPoint. Taking root?
Yes.
Number 4?
Yeah, it's taking root.
Okay.
PowerPoint number 4. That is correct. PowerPoint 4 to 6.
Yeah, and then you were talking about the icebreakers,
Yeah,
membership surveys. I don't think I changed this. I think this is.
because Troy just took.
This is your questions right here, right? This is where you're at?
Yeah, I went past there,
Okay.
and now I'm going to go to the introduction to car motion generated, and then DRT MAT is number 4. It's highlighted, showing that this is the section.
Tell me if you want me to pull up a slide, I'll pull up.
Yes,
Which one?
these PowerPoints only cover the main points of the car.
Is there a slide number on it?
No, let's see. It
Okay.
says page 3.
Okay.
You know what? Go to page 4 of. Do you have the Connecticut simplified version?
I
No.
think so.
He just cut it down a little bit.
No.
The one that says, in the section of 4, it says, this one of 2 topics with discussion questions included in this car. This is one of 2 topics.
Here's your questions, principal surrender, the questions. This was the conversation of the decades. These questions?
Yeah, it's not going to be questions yet. Because I'm going to go over it real quick anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'm not going to read everything in it. Because it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
This is one of 2 topics with discussion questions included in the car. So we talked about the general neutral. Now we're going to talk about the DRT MAT. By the way, last night we had a DRT MAT workshop. Nancy ran it. It was great. There was only about 6 or 7 people in here. Yeah,
These are the questions you're talking, these two.
right.
DRT
There it is, right there.
questions.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
those.
And,
These are the ones we're answering. This is the group tally sheet.
Right. There you go. And this is what we're talking about.
This is what
Yeah.
the groups are actually talking about. This is the discussion.
Right. And it was a great discussion last night. Really good.
Yeah.
But she hit the wrong, or somebody told her to hit the wrong thing. Instead of hitting record, she didn't record it because it was a great discussion. It's a shame that we didn't get recorded. But anyway, this is one of 2 topics with discussion questions, including the car, which you have up right there. If you're discussing these questions in your workshop, please note that this is a discussion, not a decision. Keep that in mind. You don't need to come to an agreement. It's an opportunity to hear each other and gather your thoughts for the input form, which you'll find at na.org/survey. So you can do it individually on na.org, their website. And when you do it with your group, because we take group tallies in our region, when you do it with your group, you can just write the highlights in and then submit that to the nanj.org, along with the motions and the survey, member survey.
We can't turn that in early, we have to wait till the deadline, is that what you said?
No, you don't have to wait.
Oh.
No.
You can go online now, I think it's
Yeah.
open.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you can do it
I
now.
thought you said
The
something.
deadline is April 10th
Yeah.
for our, deadline is April 1st, before April 1st, for, if you wanted to go on na.org. And you can't vote on the motions on na.org individually, but they encourage everybody to vote on the car survey and these questions and the issue discussion topics. But, you can go on and do that before April 1st. April 10th is our deadline for motions and all that stuff. But yeah, so in your home group, just write down the high points, I guess, of what people are saying about these discussion questions and submit them. Like I said, I don't know how they're going to quantify it at the World Service Conference, but I guess they're going to get a general feeling of how people feel about these two questions.
That's a question.
Okay.
DRT, MAT.
DRT is drug replacement therapy. And MAT, which is relatively new in the last 10 years, I guess, is medically assisted treatment. So,
Different.
Suboxone, methadone, Vivitrol, anything that's related to drug replacement recovery.
right, and
So what's MAT?
MAT is medically assisted treatment.
Different words for the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
There is
Okay,
there is
that's
some
what I thought.
distinction to it, in that, let's say you're, like, Vivitrol is like a blocker, right? And I'm not in the, I don't know, I'm not saying,
Yeah.
believe me, I don't know. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But that's like a blocker. That doesn't replace the drug that you're doing, it's blocking the drug that you're doing.
It blocks the effects of
Right.
the drug you're taking.
Right. Whereas Suboxone,
That's right.
Subutex and all that
Exactly.
will be like a replacement,
It's
like,
a
it's like a
replacement.
holding spot for you, till you want to kick, however you want to do it.
So the Vivitrol is medically assisted treatment.
Right, and there's other things too besides that.
Yeah.
That's medically assisted treatment. That's my interpretation.
So this motion addresses what about these two things?
This is not a motion, this is just a discussion
Oh,
about it.
discussion, okay.
Because here's the thing, like there is a pamphlet right now, a medication
Yeah.
in NA, and it has some really good points in it. And then there's in times of illness, which talks about having to take prescribed
Right,
medication.
Exactly.
Which is a little different.
So that has some really good information in it.
Right.
But in NA, globally, people are like clamoring for, because the model now, especially in the United States, is that
It's harm reduction.
it's harm reduction. They don't even call them addicts anymore. They call them substance dependent or
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
there's a different word,
They,
yeah.
they don't use addiction. They don't use addict. They don't use clean. Vicky knows all this stuff. Believe me, he's been doing research on all of it. And
We're actually doing a presentation on it to the New Jersey Treatment Providers Recovery Organization on Thursday.
Nancy
And
talked
we're
about that
doing
too.
it on MAT, language, and where we go reimagining NA in relationship with the treatment centers.
Without changing our message.
Without changing our message. I actually had that whole, yeah.
Which is going to be difficult.
It's going to
Oh,
be
it's
difficult.
gonna be fun and games, man. It's
It's
gonna
not,
be fucking
it's
great.
not, it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely.
And it's upon us now.
Mhm. Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like, you're going to wait around and, no, it's happening.
So people say, why even worry about this? So, well, the reason that they're talking about it is because the growth in the United States for a long time now has been flat. In other parts of the world, it's growing quickly, but in the United States, it's flat. And
What, the
he's-
growth of NA? What are
the
you
growth of
talking
NA
about? Okay.
in the United States. And it's because maybe, this is what I'm seeing, that these recovery businesses are telling their people, well, you're clean
Yeah,
if you're on this drug. And then you come to NA and
right,
but they don't say clean, whatever they call it.
right.
And then they come to NA and they say, well, it's between you, your sponsor, and your higher power, but we don't think you're qualified for service. Service is a privilege, right?
I mean, they openly say they're on Suboxone or they're on this or that.
And
They take it a
And
step
they
further.
believe that they're clean. That's,
it-
of
we-
course, that's not our message, but
Right.
And we wanna-
Another- excuse me,
no.
some groups don't allow people under those influence of those things share.
right.
You're right. Right.
Yeah, and first, in my home group, you can do the coffee, you can greet
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
you can do all that stuff, But the charter meeting, no.
No, I mean share.
We're sharing.
Share.
We can share from the floor in our group, but you can't share from the table for an anniversary. If you admit it that you're done.
I was just gonna say,
Right.
why would people even admit it then?
Well, some people do and some people don't. But it's up to them and their higher power and their sponsor.
But now, if these treatment centers are saying, I'm using this as an example, hey, you're clean, you're on Suboxone, I'm making this up. You got to go to NA, and so they're going there thinking that they're clean. It's like when it was like with the meth back in the day when I.
So they don't think about the fact that there's anything wrong with it,
But-
telling us.
And in addition to that, it's treatment, so they don't even know what the real NA Narcotics
Right.
Anonymous message
Yeah.
is. So then when they
Enough
come,
of an issue.
Well, I think the
What a question.
facilities need
oh,
education,
absolutely.
you know? Because number one, that not only do they do that, and this like drives me crazy, they use NA and AA interchangeably, not
Exactly.
to change the subject.
Right,
No, right,
But-
right.
right.
It
Yeah.
kind of pisses me off because
Right.
it's blurring our message.
Our message, exactly.
And it
Right.
has to do with the facilities. It's
Yeah.
not the people. They come and,
Yeah.
you know, they say sober and all that. It's not interchangeable.
Yes, yes.
You know, but I think the facilities need to be educated. And and I think the medical community is.
Isn't that what you do?
Here-
You try to do it?
Herein lies the problem. I would ask that everybody look at these questions and internalize them and answer them. The problem we have, we've been discussing this with the treatment centers in roundtable discussions, literally sitting at a table like this with the director from Director of Department of Corrections, New Jersey Treatment Providers, the Attorney General's Office, and Public Relations Committee members. And their concern is they're sending their clients on MAT into NA meetings, and in some meetings, the clients are allowed to share and participate and celebrate recovery, and some of them they're not, and they get beat up, and they tell us they're abused, but, you know, shut up and stand in the corner kind of. But because we don't have and they keep asking us, what is your position on MAT? And the only thing we can say
We're vague.
is
Yeah.
our primary opinion from the literature that we have and from the bulletins from 1994 and the MAT pamphlet is that we're a total abstinence program.
Right.
And we tell them that, you know, most of the groups do not recognize members on MAT as having clean time, so they can't take a service position or share in a position
Right.
that requires clean time.
Right.
And unfortunately, that sounds good, but in your area and your area and your area, I got no clue where you're from.
Yeah.
There's some group there that allows members to
Right.
share and participate on MAT. And our control over that is nothing,
Right.
because groups are autonomous. I look at this from a very different position, and I always put this, my home group uses the Gray Book Basic Text.
Okay.
World Services
Yeah.
disagrees with me severely, and we fight all the time.
Yeah, but in a loving, caring way.
Right, well, loving. I also participate with World Services.
Yes, he does great stuff.
Right, so I'm not rejected. Our home group is on the area meeting list of the regional statewide directory because we don't take it outside the home group. So we don't cause a problem outside the home group. It's not a conflict. If your home group allows a member to share from the table on Suboxone, did that affect, and your home group meets on Tuesday night, my home group meets in the same facility on Friday night, did that really affect my home group? Yes and no.
Yeah.
Enough to take you off the meeting list? Probably not. So each group is autonomous, and here's the difference. Back in 1996, at the World Service Conference, when we wrote bulletin number 39, it was a trustee bulletin, and it was about methadone. And it was because there was actually a conference participant came to the conference on methadone. People lost their fucking minds. At the next conference, the Board of Trustees, which at that time we were still fighting over some of the literature, but there was a level of unity and a high level of respect for the Board of Trustees. They were the guardians of the traditions. They wrote a bulletin that said, methadone is still using. And groups don't have the authority to change that because you're affecting other groups in NA as a whole. We fought about it, it was big arguments, all that kind of stuff, but in the end, that was the decision at the conference, and the fellowship pretty much fell in line with that. There was very few groups that would have recognized somebody on methadone as clean. And that was then and this is now.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we are a worldwide fellowship. The World Service Conference does not have that type of authority or,
Gravitas.
Wow.
yeah,
Clout, yeah.
of the clout and respect kind of thing. And groups are realizing their level of autonomy to a higher level. So groups are saying, look, my home group is going to say that Joe, was on Suboxone, but he hasn't. I have members of my home group, been there 2 years on MAT, and he's like, I can't give up the MAT because I haven't shot a bag or gotten arrested in 2 years.
Yep.
I love you. You're a member. Feel free to share. I gave him a metal welcome key tag, one of those bronze metal ones that says welcome. I gave him a steel one here. There's a forever, we love you, man.
Yes.
Let me recognize your 2 years of not using heroin. Can't share from the table, but we love you. And some home groups are saying, no, you're going to share from the table, we're going to give you a 2-year medallion, we're going to do the whole thing. I can't tell your home group what to do. That's why this says, does your group or area ask members if they're on MAT?
Right.
Yours.
Mine.
And yours.
Yeah.
Not mine. In our area, we put a little asterisk next to every policy position.
For area.
In Cape Atlantic area, if you take the H&I chairperson, if you take a secretary, it says the clean time requirement is 2 years abstinence from all drugs, including MAT and DRT.
Right.
There's a little asterisk.
Yeah.
That's our policy.
Yeah.
Now,
But you
groups-
don't ask.
What?
You don't ask
Yes,
if
we
they're
do.
on.
Yes, you do.
Oh, no, we do. And people are like, you can't ask. It's
Yes,
like,
you
oh,
can.
yes, I can.
Yes, you can.
I ask everybody who takes a position. And some people say, you're not allowed to do that. Now, my solution is go fuck yourself. I'm not really polite, but yes, we can ask. If you're going to serve
That's
my
right.
home group, I'm going to ask you whether you're on MAT or DRT.
Right, for your trust and service.
Yeah.
2 points. One, everything we have to know about this is already in the literature. It's already there,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And number two, was what Mickey was saying, if you want to admit that you're on it, then we say, this is, loving and caring way as much as you can. But we hope that you can get off of it sometime. So this is what we would like you to do. This is what other people have done. To introduce to the people I've been on it and got off of it and all that. And in 5 or 10 years, when they change to a different model in recovery, or have different drugs or a different way of phrasing things, we're still going to have our message. It's not going to change. And, we can't follow their
No,
whims.
but you know what it feels like, and a lot of the reading you do and everything, it starts to feel like society, or like everybody wants us to change our message because we're hurting people's feelings.
Right.
I mean, not for nothing, it's no different to me than methadone. And I know when
Exactly.
people came in, they knew they weren't clean. Yeah.
No,
I mean, somebody told you. But, I don't know.
And the thing is, I'll tell you from a personal standpoint, my son was on methadone, got kicked off because of insurance, was kicking, but he had wound up with infection of his heart. He had vegetation on his heart valve because he had a wound or something. He wasn't shooting up, he said.
Yeah.
And, so then they put him on Subutex while he was in the hospital, so he's back on it again.
Well, that's
And
kind of
that-
different.
Yeah, but now he's on it.
Why?
But now he's coming to
But that's
meetings.
GRT.
Yeah, I know.
And he understood that he can't share for his anniversary and all
Right.
that stuff. So, but what's happening is he's losing his teeth, his bones are hurting. All this stuff affects you. You can't stay on it forever.
It's mind mood altering
And it's mind-
substance
yeah.
that controls your life.
Right.
and
Here's
it's
where
Not
we're running into a
medically
problem.
necessary.
We all want to voice the opinion and say, this is what my home group does and this is what your home group needs to do. The World Board position is kind of, and what we're running into at PI is a reality
Yep.
that 20 years ago we could say, here's the position. Right now, according to the world, the decision was 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Well, I think it's bullshit, but that's okay. 1/3 of the groups that they surveyed said MAT is using. 1/3 of the groups that submitted surveys to a worldwide fellowship survey said they recognized members on MAT as clean, and 1/3, pretty much what this says right here, shut up. Yeah, that's but here's their opinion. Once we thought our fellowship could eventually come to a single position, however, we find we simply do not have consensus on whether a person taking medication to treat their addiction is clean. This is right out of their PowerPoint. So,
But it's a slippery slope, because like psych meds.
what do we do?
We had to leave psych meds alone, because you tell people off all drugs, and people stop taking their psych meds, they would end up,
Kill themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he-
and just one more thing, there's an actual program for people in MATs, and I think that the facility should send them there instead of,
Go back to,
Well, if I didn't
we want
come
them in
from
here.
methadone clinic to here, I never would have gotten off of it.
Right.
Right.
So
Right, that our hope is that you
Yeah, I see what
eventually
you're
hear
saying.
what we're saying and you
It
will
took-
find the
It
willingness
took
to
like
get off
90
of it.
days, and they let me collect key tags. My home group was, they were they ruled whatever. They let me share from the table. They let me do whatever until I met another home group of people. My sponsor, who was on the clinic for 18 years, and you're not clean, honey. No.
I have a question. Is the consensus that what we need to do is make the groups that are allowing people to share on MAT stop and have one single message? Or
We can't
is
make them stop.
or is what we want to do is allow the groups to be autonomous? And I think that's where the question is right now.
That's what it's gonna boil down to.
Do we want to enforce the decision that MAT is using, and if your home group is allowing people to share on MAT, you're wrong? Kind of like what they tell our home group, because we use the grade book.
But you do it
Everybody
anyway.
just says,
Yeah.
you're wrong, Mickey, you're an asshole. And I say, I'm an asshole, but our home group does it, and we're still on the mailing list. What most regions and areas have done is taken groups who use alternative literature off the meeting directory. That is a solution with the MAT. One of the solutions is, your home group is allowing people to share on MAT from the table, you're no longer going to be on the meeting directory. The only control an area or region or service body has is to take a group off the meeting directory. We're not let those group members participate at other levels of service. If your home group allows people to share on MAT, you can't be the H&I chairperson.
What about
So-
labeling them? Like, because we have open and closed meetings. Can we actually just label a meeting?
That would really be going on slippery
That's
slope.
Yeah, I bet that's a can of worms too.
But here's
That's
the
my
other thing.
suggestion.
Here's the other thing.
But
That
there,
goes something really bad. Yeah.
but there's nothing in our literature, service, whatever, that says, is there, I'm asking, I guess, you are welcome, you are this, but you should not take service positions.
Yes, bulletin number 28
It states that?
states that, yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean?
That's
Bulletin-
an area level though, right?
No, it's bulletin comes
I'm
from
talking about
World
any level,
Service.
group level, any
World
level.
Board.
I think that's just at area level though,
Yeah,
right?
it's-
Yeah, that's area level.
Yeah.
Service area, service
But-
position.
I think that's kind of what the fellowship's looking at. In the meetings that I've been in where it's been, or we've had conversations, it always comes down to, well, we know the stance that they're not clean, but there's no direction on whether they can do this, so every group is autonomous and we're making our own decisions. So I think that's where the literature needs to come in, or the direction from World needs to come in to say, this is our position, like, you
Well-
can come, but you can't take a
Yeah, but
service.
it's up to each home group to
I
have their
know, but at
policy.
least, but there's something that they can start with, and then they're autonomous.
this-
Like, Mickey knows that he shouldn't be using the grade book.
29.
Right. Shouldn't be using the grade book.
So,
But these home groups don't know, well, can we or can we not? Where does it say that this person
Here's-
can't share?
This is Bulletin 29. This was written back in 1996.
Right?
Um,
This is the one that states that
and-
they're not clean.
This is the one, and everybody should read this. It's available online.
NA.org.
Come down here. Here's, many groups have developed guidelines for the short atmosphere of recovery is maintained. So, those meetings, These points should be included, suggesting that those who have used any drug within the past 24 hours refrain from sharing, abiding by our fellowship, suggesting clean time requirements for service positions, seeking meeting leaders, chairpersons, who still suffers. We make a distinction between drugs replacement programs and drugs because of prescribed for addiction treatment.
We don't even follow
Now,
the
down
one.
here, our fellowship must be mindful that the kind of message we're carrying to the still suffering addict leads a meeting or becomes a trusted servant. We believe that under these circumstances, it would not be carrying an Narcotics Anonymous message of recovery if they're using MAT. If they're using, the only one we had right then was methadone. Yeah, permissiveness in this area is not consistent with our traditions. We believe our positions on this issue reinforce our recovery, protects our meetings. So,
That's a bulletin, right? Is this a
Yeah,
bulletin?
this is bulletin number 29 that was approved at the World Service Conference by the entire fellowship. I don't think it went out to the fellowship.
Didn't go to
I think we
fellowship.
just submitted, I forget now.
Like it's simply said.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
but
very,
we
it's a
don't
very
even-
well-written pamphlet. This is the 1996,
but
you search it for this bulletin 29, and it's available in most places, regarding methadone and other drug replacement programs.
but the difference today is, back then it was methadone, and rehabs were telling people, you gotta go to NA, you gotta go to AA, you gotta go to NA. you
Now
gotta-"
they're putting you
Right?
on.
Now, they're not pushing that.
Right.
They're saying, you can stay on this, you're clean the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's why people are clamoring for a pamphlet, a booklet, or something
Yep.
that can be guiding for each home group that's confused and doesn't know all this stuff.
Yep.
They can just see in black and white that's sitting on the table and you can read it. That's what they're clamoring for. But there's no consensus. That worldwide survey you're talking about might have been 200 groups out of 76,000, right?
It's
72,000.
not statistically accurate
Right.
because which groups respond?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you look at the clean time on those things, the average clean time, and according to that, over half the fellowship has 10 years clean.
Right, right.
Okay, well, go into a meeting and, add up the clean time and divide it, yeah, it's,
So the thing is, that's why they're doing it this way now. Putting it as questions rather than voting on or
Yeah.
taking a survey. There's questions so that they can get a consensus of what people mostly think and how they can approach it without alienating people coming into that we want to come into our fellowship. So,
I think that's the thing though. Like we don't want to alienate people, right? Because we've had extensive conversations about this. Again, on my home group. Where are people on MAT supposed to go if not?
They have a fellowship for people on MATs.
But-
It's a
but we want
12-step
them here.
program.
We want
We
to hear.
want them here.
Yeah, like when I was
I
saying,
want them in our group.
you gotta.
On methadone.
Yeah, but
Because
gotta
like
go
we
along
said
with it,
before,
right?
there's no
The-
incentive for them
Get
to
off.
get off of it if they're going to them
Right.
where they said they're clean.
Yeah.
Until they
And
run
like
out of
in our
insurance.
hope is that eventually coming here and us being loving and caring, they'll see that, and they'll hear people, like you said you had been on it and you got off of it, they'll hear those stories and then, oh, maybe me too, maybe I can do this.
And that's like the beautiful thing of autonomy is if you don't agree with it, if you can join a group that doesn't agree with it, you don't gotta deal with it. But if you're on the other end of it,
Exactly right.
you know what I mean?
As long as it doesn't affect
You're
anything.
welcome any group, but if
Right.
you want to share and celebrate clean time, you have to go to a group that says you're clean on those things.
Right. And like there's a shoe that fits every foot out there.
Does anybody the group actually ask people not to share if they've used because
I've
people
heard.
that have used,
We don't even ask.
you do?
We don't ask.
Yeah, because
We don't, but I've heard people do that.
Do that.
if
Yeah,
somebody
we
needs
let them
help
do
and they use
Free
it,
for all.
we want them to raise their hand. We don't want them to.
There's a lot of times.
I mean, the old saying with that cotton in your ears and.
There are groups that said
It would
you
be
use it
something
in the
that's
last
for what
24
we-
hours.
We'd
you better
ask you
get-
to sit back, listen, and refrain from sharing or
to
something.
talk to somebody after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of groups say if you've used today,
Yeah.
talk to someone after the meeting, listen
Yeah.
or talk to someone.
We don't hear from
That's
all
better
this.
than.
Because you
Yeah, we don't want to
you
do
listen
that.
to the disease, not to the
Right.
person. That's
Okay.
It's
why.
in the format.
Yeah.
A lot of groups have that in the format.
Our group didn't have it in the format, that's why I was curious.
Some
I'm
do,
always
yeah.
Yeah, but they're not thinking they're not clean. they're not thinking they
You changed
used
my
today.
opinion on it.
People
With
in
MAT, this is like just regular
Oh,
people that you come in high. We want you to
Oh,
say
yeah,
whether
sure.
you're high or not.
Because I've heard people that were high just rambling on and on.
Oh my gosh,
Well, we
it's
cut
terrible.
them off in a nice way and get them
So
somebody out of
hard.
the meeting,
But
but
then
yeah.
some of them get so,
And then again, I've been at
Yeah, very.
H&I meetings where they've nodded out at the table.
It's something very important, like, you know, the program is the program of the track, right? So you got to promote it, but then somebody that's struggling to get off the marquee, right? They see the attraction of those who live their life.
right.
And was able, like her, to be able to.
Yeah. Why we want them.
All right, let's bring this back. Try to avoid the side conversations if we can, because it's being
Sorry
recorded.
about that, folks.
That's all right.
Totally separate issue.
Try to avoid the side conversations because we're being recorded. All right, so we're going to move on from that topic to the 5. That's the survey in the PowerPoint,
Which one?
5th section.
This one top or how many?
What's that?
Which section?
I guess just start at the beginning of the survey. This is just going to talk about it general anyway.
Yeah.
We have the spiritual principle of surrender. We have consensus that abstinence and NA is central to the NA program and to our message. But there's not consensus among members on exactly what constitutes abstinence. Let's see.
That's part of the MAT stuff,
Yeah, well,
isn't it?
why is it in this section then?
I don't know, it's not my
That's not
book.
what's up on the screen.
Well, this is the first time I had enough time to get to these sections. So.
What section were you on?
It says PowerPoint number 5. Wait a minute,
Go to the car.
I might be wrong. Hold on.
What's the question? Here's PowerPoint number 5.
No, it's car survey.
Here's the car surveys.
Yeah.
This is the top one.
All right, I'm not going to read anything. I'm just going to talk
This is
about
the
it.
literature.
Here you go, PowerPoint 5. Literature, service material, and issue discussion topics. It was out of order, that's why.
I was just gonna say, it had to have been out of order.
That's why it's a reprogram, right? All right, these PowerPoints,
Literature survey, and then the revised literature survey, and then the,
yeah, it's got literature, service material, issue discussion topic survey.
We talked about the discussion topics already.
well, there was a second
No.
issue to Scott, the other second issue to Scott was the gender.
Yeah, there's
Is that the one you wanted?
we did that already earlier.
Okay.
But
You
that's,
did backwards,
Okay.
this is,
the survey stuff.
yeah, but the questions are different from the, all right, we'll see. Literature survey, literature, service material, and issue discussion topic survey. The conference has used since 2016. The conference has used a car survey to help participants set priorities for recovery literature, service material, and issue discussion topics for the cycle. 2025 interim WSC passed motion number 5. Instead of submitting motions for project plans to create specific pieces of service material, recovery literature, or IDTs for the 2026 conference agenda report, conference participants will submit those ideas for possible inclusion in the 2026 car survey. Now, the New Jersey stance on this, when we attended that interim conference, that was, because it's a 3-year cycle right now, that's the interim conference that was over Zoom, we said, wait a minute, that sounds like more like a car motion than it does an interim conference motion. Because this is all new, right? This 3-year cycle, which is a 2-cycle experiment. I talked about it earlier, that we're going to vote on whether to keep it 3-year or go back to 2-year in 2029 at the end of this next cycle. We thought it was more like a car motion, but they said no, so then that passed. So instead of submitting motions in the car, which makes sense, I mean, they rather have a survey to see what everybody really wants, and then they will allocate their resources to work on that, instead of being made to do it because it was a car motion that passed. All right. The first time any member was able to submit ideas for inclusion in the survey via an online form rather than by email. More than 500 ideas were submitted. Similar ideas were combined, and conference participants went through 2 rounds of prioritization. So conference participants are the RDs, the RDAs, which they call AD, and any zonal delegates that have 2 or more regions that aren't seated at the conference. They're able to vote on this stuff too. So every 2 months we have a webinar on Zoom, with the World Board, and we prioritized. They had a whole bunch of ideas, and then we all picked what we thought were the best ones in each category, and whittled it down. And that's what they're asking the members to do now, is to whittle it down even more to something they can work on. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. I don't know who was here when I mentioned this before. As an individual, you can go on NA.org and vote as an individual, not for the motions, you can't do that, but for the literature survey. And I guess you can still have to fill out the questions too. But we also want you to do it if you're in the New Jersey region and the northern New Jersey region. We want you to go on nanj.org to get the tally sheet to take to your home group, because we vote by home groups in our region. For some reasons they vote by individuals, we vote by home group. So we ask that you submit it as your home group be represented. And
Just for the 5 questions, right?
huh?
Just for the 5?
No, for the survey too.
The survey too?
What's that?
My group is not going to sit.
Yeah, I can't.
Remember the service decision-making goes into the next list.
Yeah,
My group will be able to comprehend that.
it's the survey questions. Yeah. So we encourage the groups to go on. In my group, we're going to talk about the survey questions and see what. If you don't want to do it, that's fine too. I mean, it's up to you.
I want to do it, but I know my home group won't.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do the car.
Cool.
Mine either. They were pissed.
So, if you and one other home group member want to get together and take the list out of the survey, you do it and submit it to nanj.org. If you don't want, please do the motions. But the survey is important too.
Yeah.
Because this is what they're going to develop
Handed out a
literature-wise.
flyer to everyone in the home group to go online and fill out the survey, and then we'll do the questions, the 5 questions as a home group.
Yeah, the World Board prefers that we do that, and they also want the conscience of the region. So that's where I come in. I have to bring the conscience. So whatever home groups submit their choices for literature, we're going to take that. It's going to be tough to quantify, I think. Like I said, this is the first time this has happened. This has never happened before. Thank you. All right, well, so we're going to see how this goes. We're going to do the best we can. Yep. What happens to the car survey results? NOLS, ongoing work, production, reporting, translations, shipping, sending literature to members and communities in need, PR web meetings, and much more. WSC approved projects. WSC approved projects. The 3rd of February 2026 CAT contains general project plans without a specific focus. The car survey guides the conference's decision about the focus. So in the CAT now, they have all these open-ended motions that we're going to vote on as RDs at the conference. In our region, we never workshopped the CAT, which is the conference approval track. We talked about this earlier. I don't know who's here, but it's more like housekeeping, sort of, at the conference. Tell me if I'm saying anything wrong, but that's from my experience from before. That's what it is. So maybe in the future, if we stay on a 3-year cycle, because the car and the CAT come out earlier now, maybe we will workshop the CAT. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how all this stuff goes.
What region will?
Region.
You're not talking about
Region,
yeah. God.
Which, will affect areas and home groups. So, how can we better do this? I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Because the NOLS strategic plan, which we talked about earlier, because it's a motion, that's this is all going to be involved with a strategic plan about what they're going to be developing and working on in the next 3-year cycle. So basically, it's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty simple, right? And like it says, also please consider what would benefit the wide world of NA. Like, it's a global fellowship. Think about people in other countries. And, people in other countries don't have to worry about MAT and DRT because it doesn't exist in that country, some of them.
So I know you said this already, but do we just send the results of the car motions to, does that go to the region also, or just send it on to?
No. So you have to go to the region.
Or to the region?
Yeah, you can't vote on,
No, I thought it was supposed to go to na.org.
no, you can't vote as a group or an individual on na.org on the motions. They won't let you do that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to vote on at the World Service Conference. And the way we do it in our region, some regions just say, DRD, whatever you think, go ahead and vote on it.
They said if we couldn't get on, we could bring the paper and.
So our delegate brings us a region.
Right, yeah, they're all different. Like around the world, some of them just say, no, RD can decide. But in our region, we go by group tallies. We've always done that, right? Or, as far as I can remember. And so for group tallies on the motions, go to nanj.org.
Okay.
And they'll tell you, they'll ask you what group you represent and all that stuff. And then you only get one vote for that group.
Right.
Or one time to vote.
Right, okay.
One time.
So if somebody else from your home group gets on and says they want, this is my home group and different name, and it won't take it. Because that home group, that's the way it's supposed to work. We'll see how it works. Like I said, it's all brand new. But I trust Paul R. He's pretty good with this stuff.
Pretty good with it,
And he's my sponsee, so he knows that I'll give him an assignment if he doesn't
yeah.
mess
There we
this
go,
up.
keep him in line, yeah.
All right, so here's the car, right? I encourage everybody to read it, back to front. It's a tough thing to do. It ain't easy, but it's really informative, and there's tally sheets in here too. But you get the tally sheet off of nanj.org.
Yeah.
Then you can print it out so you can write it down and then put it on the. Because we decided no paper this year.
We gave out, the only thing we really gave out, we were going to print our area, Cape Atlantic area usually gets a copy of the conference agenda report for every GSR. We just sent everybody a PDF of it. I can send you a PDF of the GSR of the conference agenda report right now in your email address.
Oh, I already had,
Right.
I printed it out.
The only thing we print is the group tally sheets so the groups can go physically take them into their home group, and then somebody takes that group tally sheet and then types it into the
Oh, what,
original.
are you talking about that book? You had that book on PDF?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the one he just
Oh,
sent
I
in.
don't have the whole book.
Actually, it's available on NAWS or,
Oh, okay.
yeah, if you give me your email address, I can send it to you. like,
Oh, if
from
it's
here.
on those, I can get
You
it.
can go to na.org
Yeah, I
and
get
you
You
can
go to na.org and
download it.
Yeah.
This came from Merle, the Middle Multi-Regional Learning Event up in New Hampshire, and I just took one, so it was $10. But.
Yeah.
So listen, so there's no confusion. The issue discussion topics are in the survey also are different from the discussion questions. The discussion questions are the two, about gender neutral language and about DRT MSD. But the issue discussion topics, you can choose up to two of them also, and there's 8 of them. Well, 7 or 8, yeah. And that's something that will be a part of the next cycle that the CP conference participants will talk about on every webinar that we do. There's a lot of information here.
It is a lot.
And I was saying, in the survey and the issue discussion topics, they have numbers under objective next to it. I told people, you can look it up in the strategic plan and see what the objectives that correspond to that number are for each piece of recovery literature that they're proposing or revising. I would stay away from that. Personally, in my own home group, because it might just get a little bit too confusing. You can try it if you want, but you'd have to go flip back and forth or have a cheat sheet or something, And it's not that important, I don't think. Well, that's just my personal opinion.
The questions are pretty cut and dry. They're pretty easy.
Yeah, they're pretty easy.
Disruptive and predatory behavior, unity, helping addicts find us, use of funds, social media, retaining old timers.
Yeah, I think old timers should start getting paid. You should get a dividend, I just celebrated 24 years, so anybody 24 years or more should get the dividend.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I'm in.
All right, so is there any questions about anything in the car or about voting or about how we're going to approach it? Because we're getting close to the end. It's over 12. We got 25 minutes left. Or we can leave time for Mickey to be able to set up for his helpline
Yeah,
Can
it's
you just
really
do this
good.
workshop for our area on Sunday, please?
What's that?
I said, can you just do this workshop for our area on Sunday?
You already did this.
I have to do it again. I'm doing it every.
Yeah, I'll do it. As I said, I'll show up.
Yeah, like I'm just, man, I can't keep anyone's attention.
I'll do
I
it.
don't think it's you. I think nobody, I think it's just
We
in
don't
general. Nobody
understand.
wants
We've
to
been
do
doing it
it.
in small chunks. We
Nobody
did
gives a
the
shit
first
anymore.
one,
That's exactly right.
Nobody gives a
promotion.
But you know what? It's been like that a long
I
time,
did the
too.
whole thing.
You know what? But I said
We
that
did
it's your
one
voice.
workshop
It's-
just on the
we get to give our
NAT. We
voice.
did
There's
one
no look good
workshop
play to say, nobody
just
told me
on
this was gonna happen.
I just did.
Yeah,
the
what
thing-
we've been
I-
trying to
I
tell you.
really-
Yeah.
I went through the PowerPoint and I tailored it down, right?
You did good because we have to take this back to our home.
I know.
And their attention span is
Shorter.
Yeah, and they
much
have
shorter.
share.
I get your name and
I
number?
want to hear it.
Okay.
Lou E.
You have to do it in little pieces.
NMRD,
As long, as long
regional delegate,
Oh, okay.
New Jersey region.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay.
I'm doing one
E.
portion of it.
Okay. R. D. Now you sounding like a doctor now.
Like I go
And
over
what's
it,
your
like,
number?
after my
856.
Like, hey, real quick, let's talk about this motion, and then like
534.
we'll talk about it in text. But for our area,
67.
we're doing workshop after area. after
73.
that was very helpful.
Thanks, Lou.
Call me anytime. And if I don't answer, I'll call you right
We
back.
got one more area before we vote, and
Call me so I can,
Oh, yeah.
same day
Okay.
you celebrate too. I'm gonna be so exhausted.
and your first name again?
Tony C.
Tony C.
You know,
Yeah, it's the.
I'm trying to group, I have to recreate these contacts. I'm going to group you three guys together. 'Cause I'm not going to remember anybody's name.
I told her.
Um,
Our area's next time.
so I'll text you then. I'll give you a text.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thanks. All right.
We're having
She's
dinner on the
speaking on the
15th,
8th,
we're
we're having-
speaking on the 8th.
Yeah.
I could switch it.
So we're still being recorded, so,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
So Lou has agreed to do the workshop for our area.
yeah. Listen, I'll do workshops.
I have the computer and the PowerPoint slides. You can.
I'll do workshops for areas. I'll do workshops, which I've done already, and I'll do workshops for home groups.
All right.
Yeah, you're.
So call me. I mean, that's what I'm here for. Beside,
Next Sunday.
or the RDA, Michelle, who can't be here today because of a family thing, but she'll be there Sunday too.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
I did the first one and they supported, like Michelle and Kyle.
You're doing a Doran area or
Yeah,
after?
I did do it after.
Okay, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for the whole area anyway. So,
Okay. All right, cool.
because
I
Kyle
got
thinks he's getting away easy.
I have my
just get
laptop
emotions.
and I'm able to put it on the screen
Good.
on the TV.
Yeah, no, we'll do it definitely.
Awesome.
Anybody else wants to, the area or home group or anything? Just give me a call. I'll give you my number if you want, but you can reach me through the New Jersey website also. Anything else anybody has? Because we can close. All right, let's
Awesome
close.
job, Lou. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's close with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to do the difference. Well, whatever. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.